Alright, welcome back everybody to the final day of the first weekend of 2 pools 2. Vietnam A versus Gamer Legion C, ACCM and Say My Name versus Nili and Jordan. This is the second matchup of Group A, an extremely important matchup for both of these teams. ACM and Say My Name were an invited team to the event, whereas Nili and Jordan had to play through the qualifiers. And this is definitely one of the sets I was looking forward to the most. I'm really curious to see how this is going to shape out. We'll have Regicide Fortress and Team Islands being the picks of Nili and Jordan. Other side, Team Acropolis and Coast to Mountain will be the picks for ACM and Say My Name. Chinese Incas for global bans, and we'll have Indians as an early pick for Vietnam A, potentially for Arabia. Celts, Franks, Britons, Vikings is the pool 1. Sicilians, Koreans, Goths, Burgundians, and Spanish as pool 2. And Lithuanians, Mayans, Berbers, Ethiopians, and Italians will be the first pool for Nili's team. And Burmese, Turks, Aztecs, Saracens, and Byzantines will be their pool 2 civs in this one. With that being said, let's take a look at the team of ACCM and Say My Name.
The tight-knit group known as Vietnam Legends has played together for the better part of a decade. While Bact will be returning this time with his new team, Infinity Legends, ACCM and Say My Name return to 2 pools under the Vietnamese banner. Having played together for such a long time, the Vietnamese pros have excellent coordination and synergy. They know how to work together to become greater than the sum of their individual strengths. ACCM was one of the most improved players of 2020 and will most likely be the carry position, while Say My Name brings his long experience and reliable gameplay to the table. Vietnam Legends play the meta, and they will play it well. In the first 2 pools, Vietnam Legends lost a tense 5-game set to Doubt and Slam. They're an extremely solid team that, on a good day, can beat any other duo. However, they'll need to bring their A game if they want to make a deep run in the tournament.
So with that, I think we're almost set to start with the set over here. I'm expecting a very, very close set in this one, I believe. It's going to be interesting because I know that ACCM and Say My Name are very motivated towards the tournament, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how they prepared. On the other hand, Nili and Jordan are also super motivated. Jordan coming out of an insanely good Hidden Cup performance. Nili trying to show his improvement over the recent months, where he pretty much turned into a full-time player and pretty much stopped casting. So we will see how much Nili improved recently. I think the improvement could be seen on his performance, but they are going to have to play their best to be able to beat ACCM and Say My Name, because the Vietnamese team overall is one of the strongest in the world. It applies, I think the same thing applies on the Vietnamese team as it applies on the Suomi. The bigger the team game, the better they are. So 1v1 they're good players, 2v2 they become stronger, 3v3 even stronger, and 4v4 they are super strong as well. Same thing as Suomi. So the bigger the team game, the more comfortable the Vietnamese players feel themselves. So looking at the civilizations for a moment, Italians and the Byzantines or Saracens seem like a relatively reasonable combination for Team Islands. There is definitely a lot of things to love about that. Regicide Fortress could be Turks alongside maybe Mayans, maybe Berbers even, I would say. Although you also have Burmese in your second pool. Aztecs is an interesting question, but think about it this way. Aztecs is not a good archer civ in 2v2, they don't have Thumb Ring. Aztecs is good on maps like Hideout, for example. Maybe Regicide Fortress could be something, but Aztecs is not a good 2v2 civ, because you need a good archer civs as 2v2, and they are not good enough. They are not a good archer civ, especially once Thumb Ring is becoming a factor. So one thing that's interesting to look at is that Gamer Legion C doesn't really have a good cavalry civ in their pool 2, so they either play Turks cavalry on Arabia, or they have to pick their Berbers or Lithuanians on Arabia. Other side, I'm fairly certain it's gonna be an Indian pick from the Vietnamese team. accompanied by potentially Koreans as an archer civ. They don't really have good archer civs in their second pool as well, but they can go Spanish on Regicide Fortress, and then potentially something like Goths on Team Acropolis or Coast to Mountain. Sicilians could be a good civ as well for Coast to Mountain. And lastly, you might just go for a landing civ, whichever is left for Team Islands. Alternative is that you go something like Burgundians and Britons on Arabia, and then you save something like Goths and Indians for Team Acropolis, which might be an even better situation than I initially thought. So, Gamer Legion C, Nili+Jordan versus ACCM and Say My Name. Let's go into game number 1. So welcome to Arabia. We will have Say My Name playing as Britons in green on the right side, and we'll have on the left side Burgundians for ACCM in blue, so it seems like they indeed are keeping Indians for a later stage. On the north, we will have Admiral Jordan. Oh, look at those memes. I gotta love it. It's not just Jordan AoE, he's channeling his inner Admiral as a reference to his Hidden Cup success, and now he's officially Admiral Jordan. And also worth noting that they have Team Islands as their home map, something that Jordan also, well, it was Islands in Hidden Cup, but still, Admiral Jordan on the field, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hope that his skills won't only show on water, though, because it is dangerous to bring an Admiral to the middle of the desert, because that is exactly what we are seeing over here, the Admiral in the desert. Nili on the other side will be playing Saracens in red. It was interesting to see that the Vietnamese team actually gave the Saracens to Gamer Legion, because if there is one team that can work well with Saracens, I think that's Gamer Legion. They have a Discord where they share strategies, and I'm fairly certain that Nili+Jordan did ask Taro what to do if they get Saracens, because Taro is the real master of Saracens, and I'm fairly certain that that helps quite a bit at Nili+Jordan being reasonable with this set as well. Overall, I think I like the civilization of ACCM and Say My Name a lot better, though. ACCM with the Blue Briton or Blue Burgundians, early Cavalier, early Paladin. Post-Imp, it could be a different scenario, but we'll talk about that later. Right side, Britons. Britons is like light years ahead compared to Saracens in the quality of the archers, in the number of archers, in every aspect of the game. Britons are better than Saracens. The biggest problem, I believe, for Jordan and Nili's team is that they don't have a Paladin, and ACCM is actually trying to lame a boar here, and Jordan, he does block the passage of that scout over there. That was a very, very hard lame, by the way, so he lames it all the way across. Jordan is coming in to block that laming attempt, but ACCM starting out aggressive in here. Let's see, it looks like the elephant is going to de-aggro, and that means that ACCM will actually try again, but his scout is going to be super low HP, even though the elephant attacked up hills. But this should be an easy block for Jordan overall. He can just de-aggro the boar as well, although he could just try to pick off the scout as well. Although ACCM is getting closer and closer to his base over here. Now Jordan tries to block the elephant. ACCM plays this patient, and oh, like, the patience is extremely good here from ACCM with this laming. Oh my. Jordan is having a tough time stopping this, that's for sure. And you are doing this against the team that has Nili on it. And everybody remembers Nili's laming video, that he doesn't like laming in tournaments. Especially if this succeeds for ACCM, as this is a disgustingly well-executed lame now from ACCM. I mean, he stops, waits, and that is just absolutely bonkers. I mean, Jordan is trying his best to stop the elephant, but oh my god. If ACCM pulls this one off, this is gonna be an extremely good lame, and it looks like Jordan is gonna bail out on this, and once again, Nili is gonna be a little bit sad that laming is allowed in tournaments. Now, ACCM's early eco itself wasn't that great, I believe. He already consumed 2 of his elephants. Jordan finished it up as well. So I did want to mention that I think mid-game, Berbers is something I prefer more compared to Burgundians, because they can actually outnumber the opponent quite nicely with knights, so even though the cavalry quality will be better there for ACCM's Cavalier, the knight numbers will be better for our yellow player, but the Britons should have a massive advantage over Saracens, as Nili is going for standard 22 pop. Over here, it looks like we have a Drush from Say My Name. In fact, it looks very much like a Drush FC in this case, so that could be a little bit troublesome for Nili to handle, because Saracens, even if they start going for archers, it's going to take some time until they get through walls, and I'm not sure how much damage Nili would cause with that. In post-imp, the interesting scenario is that there is no Paladin available for Berbers, but they have very good heavy camos, and Saracens also have very good heavy camos, but you will still use Saracens as your archer civ. So I think that the civ advantage here is on the side of Vietnamese here, and oh boy, Nili's Drush defense, we have seen this in the qualifiers. There was an Eruption game where he got absolutely destroyed by a Drush, and the PTSD could actually be there for Nili now. Loses another Voyager to a Drush. I don't think that he was expecting a Drush here, or at least so it seems, because by the time he wrote his wood line, there was one Voyager left on the outside. Was coming up here for a Say My Name, as we will have Jordan just dropping the stable. Jordan's base isn't really amazing. He did compensate for the lost board by pushing in some ostriches, which helps a little bit. But if you compare, ACCM is going to have a very nice fuel age timing as well. Vo's off the right side first. His base overall is well defendable. This goal is a little open, but there is multiple ways you can vote this one off. The Drush is still harassing Nili, and it looks like Nili's villagers are actually a little bit stuck, and now they just, you know, stack on top of each other. Drush not actually achieving anything more, but I mean, killing one villager is already a great achievement for your Drush. You are looking to delay your opponent from attacking you, basically, as that's a little bit sloppy from ACCM. Dives into TC, this is as good as that lane was from ACCM. That was an absolute disaster. I mean, if it was a 1 HP Voyager, I understand if he tries to dive in and yoink that, but come on, man. That was a full HP Will. I feel like ACCM just sent his scout over here and then forgot about it. So, ACCM going for his scout, he's actually just massing them back at home, getting the Burgundian Spearmen out on the field. It's very interesting that so far in 2 polls, Burgundians is one of the most popular cavalry civs out there. Admiral Jordan is going to show a hole to ACCM here. ACCM should have no trouble defending against this one. He's going to say a big thank you to his opponent for showing that hole, because that could have been a lot more problematic hole later on. So I think there is an also hole in between this house and the stable. So ACCM's walls weren't perfect. The militias are still not doing much here in Nili's base. Nili going for double range archers, but this is what the Drush is all about, delaying your opponent. And if you take a look at this, Say My Name is going to have to make a defensive tower on his gold mine to make sure that he is not going to lose control of it. He's a little bit tight on resources, so I'm not sure how he's going to be able to go up straight to Castle Age. But the Drush FC could still work out nicely for him. Some big walls coming in here from Jordan at the back. It seems like because he was busy fighting or trying to stop the lane, he didn't scout this woodline at the back. If he sees this, he would wall like this and wall like this, but because he doesn't have information on those, he believes that this is very open and he will just wall like that. So, Nili right now harassing the woodline of Say My Name over here. That's a nice find, and Say My Name can't really counter tower that, so he's gonna have to go for his own archers. And I think Say My Name should be good to go into Castle Age soon, although he adds more archers. This archer from Nili actually hurts really badly for Say My Name because his Castle Age is being delayed very heavily. And Saracens with the market, they can catch up quite nicely. So that could be something to consider. Right now, scouts from Jordan trying to bash their way into Say My Name's base, but Nili's base is also in trouble as the scouts from ACCM will actually get there. Quick walls from Nili are in, but Nili could lose a couple of archers, which would be quite troublesome overall. Losing archer numbers is definitely far from ideal. Castle Age coming in for Say My Name. He's also picking off the archer from Nili here. And it looks like Nili might lose another Voyager here. ACCM not going super greedy. He will just run around and be annoying. That's all about that. They want to be annoying as that's one archer down. The early archers are fairly expensive, so it is great value if you can snipe one of those. And that's another archer that's going to get picked off. Losing archer numbers like that hurts really badly. And now, even though Say My Name is only one range and he had to idle those for a while, he's got faster working Britain ranges, so he will be able to get quite a lot of archers out soon, and he will go for crossbows in the foreseeable future. Both cavalry players are getting close to clicking up to Castle Age here. Another Voyager goes down from Nili as he's down to 33. ACCM is only at 31 though, with wheelbarrow. Nili doesn't have wheelbarrow, that's why he has a technically or seemingly an eco lead. Nili now going for the market with Saracens, and don't underestimate Saracen markets, but as I said, I feel like the civs here for Vietnam just seem a lot better than the GL team civs, which is interesting because I would think that the biggest strengths of Gamer Legion is their draft and overall their strategies. So archers already moving out here, only 4 of them, and just +1 attack, but even just a couple of crossbows, especially with Britons, having even just 7 range is already devastating when it comes to pushing this side of Nili's base, for example. Nili is going to be the last player to go up to Castle Age. He'll probably sell stone to go up. We will have 4 walls from Jordan going for double stables. We'll see if he goes for triple stables. And one thing I want to point out is that Nili and Jordan were in the top 8 seeds of the qualifiers, which means that they only had to play 1 round. And in that 1 round, they played against Noisik and Whitecourt, a Chilean duo. And the Arabia game was a disaster for Jordan and Nili at the beginning. They had an awful start. But then they actually managed to rebound, so this might not be over just yet. Massive Saracen market usage, and Nili's gonna pick up to Castle Age, despite the fact that he did lose quite a significant portion of his eco over here. And at the end of the day, if he doesn't die to these first couple of crossbows, which is not necessarily guaranteed, he's gonna have 16 archers against 11 only. Still, it looks like Say My Name is moving in, picks off 1 Voyager from the wood line. And the crossbows also, using their 7 range as opposed to 5, they will try to pick off as many archers as they can, pressure the gold mine of Nili here, and it looks like Jordan will have to send his knights to this side, but the Drush-FC is working so well for our green player. Nili is off from gold, and Botkin arrow coming in will mean that those crossbows will have 8 range. Another Voyager goes down from Nili. So this is looking really grim right now for Gamer Legion. Scouts trying to get through the walls over here. Crossbows are in. Another Voyager goes down. Oh boy. This is awful. This is awful for Nili currently. He's now trying to dive in with his archers, but all his archers will go down now. It's 14 crossbows against 8, and this is just an absolute slaughter right now on this side of the map. And Nili is down to 31 Voyagers. He will be up to Castle Age, but only 8 archers as opposed to 15. And Britain archers will be way better than Saracens are. Britain eco in general is better than Saracen eco is. Losing an archer like that also hurts quite badly. As we have Cavalier instantly clicked in here by ACCM. Jordan is going for double stable knights, only adding 2 more TCs. So at this point, the hope is that Jordan is going to be able to boom up the point where he can just overrun the opponent with knights, and Nili is going to be the punching bag, I'm fairly certain. So Nili is probably slowly going to absorb damage, and this is the moment where ACCM and Say My Name need to switch towards Jordan though, because Nili has been taking quite a lot of damage, but if they leave Jordan to boom with 3 TC's Berbers, that could be very devastating, because he could get to early Cavalier, like a real Cavalier with +4 defense, because even though these will be Cavalier from ACCM, they only have +2 defense, or at least they will have +2 defense when ACCM grabs that upgrade. 2 TCs only for now for ACCM. Only 1 TC for Say My Name going for University Ballistics. And I like this move from the Vietnamese team. They actually target the ranges and they're like, okay, we can't kill Voyagers, we'll just kill the ranges. And the 8 range crossbows with the +1 defense for Say My Name will just outrange and overall outplay Nili's crossbows, so Nili won't actually be able to stop this one. Jordan is preparing 10 knights to push in here though, and that could be a big cleanup if that happens, as it looks like the Cavalier will jump on the remaining crossbows of Nili. Nili is in big trouble, but here comes Jordan. Admiral Jordan with the relief. You gotta use your cavalry if you're ACCM to kind of block the movement of those knights over here, because you don't want to get your crossbows surrounded by knights, and this could be an extremely important fight. I am not so sure if Jordan has enough knights though to win this one. This is a good fight for Jordan. It's probably as good as it gets, but we don't know if this is actually enough, and it seems like it isn't. It really seems like it isn't, and it seems like this is gonna be a short game here for Gamer Legion. Admiral Jordan venturing to the middle of the desert, and his fellow companion nearly dying to the Drush FC here. And a quick strike from Vietnam Legends in the first one. Not necessarily something I expected, because this was a fairly one-sided game, let's just say that. Nili apparently started a little rusty over here. And also on the other side, we had a successful lane from ACCM. That's also something to point out. So we had one successful lane from ACCM, resulting in a nice start for him. Very nicely executed. Jordan tried to stop it, but he wasn't able to. And it wasn't an easy lane from ACCM. He had to lane the board from some round like over here. So ACCM and Say My Name play this one really well and get to game number 2. This will be on the home map of Gamer Legion C. Nili and Jordan have Regicide Fortress or Team Islands available. Let's see if Admiral Jordan will channel his voter self and bring it to Team Islands. So Saracens and Berbers are gone for Nili's team. One thing that is actually a little bit problematic with that is that I think that Saracens could have been one of the teams or one of the civilizations for islands. It looks like it's gonna be Byzantines and Italians if we go there. Or potentially Burmese could be the alternative. If it's Regicide Fortress, I think it's either Turks or Burmese now. It seems fairly straightforward from that perspective. Aztecs will most likely be picked, by the way, for Coast to Mountain, now that I think about that, because... or Team Acropolis, because you're trying to pick Aztecs at a place where your opponent will pick Goths. It's also worth pointing out that ACCM and Say My Name still keep Franks and from their pool 1 and also Indians, and if I look at their draft, I feel like that's a slightly stronger draft than Nili's team. So, game number 2 will be on the home map of Nili and Jordan, and we go to Regicide Fortress, so they choose their closed map first. As we will jump into game number 2. Interesting to see these architecture on this map, I have to say. Nili is going to be playing red Ethiopians. It's not something that you see on this Regicide Fortress map frequently. In fact, I'm interestingly surprised by the fact that we are seeing this architecture on Regi Fortress. It's so rare because what civs have this architecture? Basically Malians, Ethiopians, and that is it, right? Not a lot of civs have this architecture, and none of those civs are amazing for Regicide Fortress. Nili will be playing Ethiopians, but don't underestimate that. Ethiopian Halberdier Onager or Halberdier Ram could be pretty devastating, or some tricky strategies. If I was playing Ethiopians on this map, I would do Petards into Shola Warriors. Because Sholos are cheap, they can mass them very easily. They can take down buildings super fast. You have a barracks, so you don't even need to build that. You can go FC into Shola Warriors. You make 20 Sholos, these are fairly cheap. Get Arson, blast your way through the walls, run in, snipe 2 TCs, and your opponent's eco is in ruins. That would be an extremely cheesy but beautiful strategy to do. Something that is somewhat common on Arena. Either Siege Tower or Petard Shoal Warriors are actually a fairly common Arena strategy, especially at lower elos where players aren't prepared for it. Other side, we will have Celts pick here from our blue player ACCM. His teammate is going to be playing Spanish for Say My Name in green. This looks like a Conquistador into Paladin and probably just FC boom into Haben Siege play from ACCM. And finally Burmese for Jordan. So on the bottom, we do have 2 unique unit civilizations. Early Conquistadors are much better than early Arambai though. You see that the players are luring in their boars with scouts, and the reason why you can do that here is because you can garrison your castle and heal up your scout. That's not something that you can do on Arabia. And because of that, you can lure in the boars with your scout, save some vulture seconds. Indeed, that's a good question. This variation of Regicide Fortress doesn't have towers, and the reason why is because we wanted to make this map a little bit more aggressive. So instead of, like you see the rubbles, those were the spots where towers were originally. Those would actually limit the opponent from potentially pushing this side with conquistadors or so. So towers would give you a little bit of an extra defense all across your walls, and we decided to remove them to make sure that the map is a little bit more aggressive and favors some early aggressive strategies as well. Feudal Age coming in for everybody. First to reach Feudal will be ACCM. That's a blazing fast Feudal for ACCM, man. Look at that. 20 pop Feudal, and it's going to be an FC build from him. This is a crystal clean fast castle from ACCM over here. Very, very nicely done. Part of the fact is that he is scaled, so he doesn't need that much wood or that many villagers on wood to gather the same required for the two buildings, but still, this is a blazing fast feudal, man, for a fast castle. It's actually nearly crystal clean build. If I wanted to be really picky, I would say that he's a little too much on gold, and he's gonna be a little too low on food, so he might have to buy 100 food, do some eco-balancing, but even that is not really true. So this is an absolutely amazing FC from ACCM. Crystal clean, he has had 3 seconds of TC idle time, and he's gonna reach Castle Age at 9 minutes and 30. That's absolutely amazing. SayMyName is gonna have a fairly decent Castle Age time as well. He goes for 23 pop. Nili will just now click up, he goes for 24 pop, and it seems like Jordan is gonna do the exact same thing as well. So, relics, it's worth pointing out that all of them are apparently in the middle of the map, so there is gonna be a big fighting for relics going on over here. Whoever is gonna be able to secure some more should be conquistadors, I would say, from SayMyName, alongside the Burmese Arambai. The kings are all inside the castles, with the exception of the Blue King. The Blue King is still scouting, and that's something that you have to be careful about. Same thing for Nili here. You don't want to scout with your king in feudal, and you gotta be real careful about this. If this king actually gets found by his scout, even though the king is quite comparable in speed to the scout, that could be some very, very scary moments. That applies to both players, both Nili and ACCM, that you are playing with fire here, scouting with your king in feudal. In Dark Age, that's fine, because the king outruns the scout. But man, in feudal, you are risking a lot. If you lose the king, you lose the game. Or at least, not your entire team, but you get automatically defeated, which means that you can't do anything else. And your teammate won't win 1 versus 2, so you lose your king, you lose, basically. That's why Regicide is the game mode. So we're gonna have a TC coming in here for ACCM. It looks like his build was a little too tight for 3 TCs immediately. That was something that was probably expected, so to say. Nili is deleting all the walls at the back here. I mean, the left side is walled off, sure. But the right side is actually open. I mean, he will probably drop a TC here or so, but still, I'm not necessarily a fan of opening that base up so easily. So, with that, we're gonna have a second TC coming in here for SayMyName, adding a couple of conquistadors. 3 TCs now for ACCM. Second TC for Jordan as well, going for Rambai. So this is basically the 2 players mirroring each other on the south, whereas on the north, we do have Nili going for 3 TCs, same as well for ACCM. It might just be Boom, and in that case, it's probably Hob and Onager most likely from Nili, and Hob and Ram from ACCM, but seeing that he's up against Ethiopians, we might see Furor Celtica Onagers versus Torsion Engines Onagers. That would be an excellent matchup, so to say. We will have Conquistadors already out. The early Conquistadors are much better than the Arambai are, so they're slightly more mobile. Their HPs are comparable, but Kongs have 6th range and the Arambai only have 5. So Conquistadors actually beat Arambai in low numbers. In higher numbers, Arambai win, because suddenly they're, like, in general, Arambai actually benefit from being a bigger and bigger group the most, basically, amongst almost all units in the game. Some units are very strong individually, some of them are fairly weak individually but great in groups, and Arambai is one of those. That they are not really great individually, but when you have a group of 10 Arambai, that starts to become scary. ACCM grabs Loom for himself, so he might actually move out for maybe a 4th TC. He's not mining stone, so he's not gonna get an additional TC anytime soon. And it looks like you see that the Kongs are just trying to out-micro the Arambai with the range advantage. A bear also joins the fun, and this is why Arambai are so tough against Cogs. The extra range might not seem like it's much, but it actually is extremely important from that manner. It looks like there's some miscommunication between ACCM and SayMyName. SayMyName could have finished off that scout, but apparently he didn't. Relics are still in the middle, and it looks like ACCM is going to go for some early walls here to secure this corner for future trade. This will be the other corner that they will be using. So for now, 84 vouchers for Gamer Legion 85 and 80 only for Vietnam. So nice micro so far from SayMyName. It's not easy to micro units like this. They are playing in a high ping environment because it is German players playing against Vietnamese players. Probably West India servers, which is like 150, 160 ping from Germany and probably comparable from Vietnam. So microing units like this with 160 ping is not that easy, although many of these players are long-time players, so they played a lot in the Woobly era where pings were a lot worse. In fact, Nili played in the era where they played with 1000 ping, so it's not necessarily an excuse, but it's not easy to micro the Conquistadors like that against the Arambai. So, with that, we will have 2 TCs for SayMyName, 3 TCs now for Jordan, so he's adding a little bit more eco behind this one, going for 7 on stone, so he will actually play double castle Arambai over here. One thing is important, while the Conquistadors are beating the early Arambai, it is also true that Conquistadors are going to be somewhat more useless in Imperial. They are still good units, but Arambai in Imp versus Conquistador in Imp is actually much better towards the Arambai then, especially if they actually find a couple of Kongs here to kill. Nice micro so far from SayMyName. The mobility advantage, the range advantage really shows here with the Kongs. House is coming in here for Nili. One of the reasons I said why we remove towers is because that could motivate aggressive plays like this. And if there was a defensive tower here, you would never actually try to get through these walls with Kongs, but with no defensive towers, it is much easier to get through these walls. ACCM will go for TC number 4 and pick up relics as well. ACCM is booming his heart out, man. He's got a crazy build here, I have to say. 63 villagers is the same as Nili, but I mean, he already has a 4 TC going up. He already has relics being gathered. So ACCM's build here is extremely good. Now, Jordan is going to intercept Conquistador from SayMyName. Nili has contingency walls here, but it looks like SayMyName is just going to disengage for the time being. 3 TCs now as well for SayMyName, so the 2 unique unit players are head-to-head in villager count 57 and 55 are the will counts. Nili still on 3 TCs as we get bloodlines for Jordan. So he's gonna slowly start buffing up those Rampa, and this is where they start getting scary. So husbandry, bloodlines, and a big group of Arambai suddenly could be very problematic. So we will have the Arambai juking the shots over here, and Arambai closing distance and shooting from close range is exactly what the Arambai want here. Taking a reasonable engagement, but I'm not sure if this was good enough. It was like 4 or 5 Arambai traded to about 2 or 3 Kongs. I don't think that the Arambai were able to take a good engagement here, and it seems like those Conquistadors are just being an excellent counter unit to the Arambai. I think ACCM and SayMyName knew exactly that Nili and Jordan will pick the Arambai civilization over here. SayMyName, very good micro so far. 13 kills, 6 losses. Jordan has 8 kills, 13 losses in this one. And really, SayMyName is just microing his heart out, man. Look at this. I feel sad for Jordan. because this is extremely tilting to micro against. That one range from the Conquistadors actually comes in clutch here against the Rambai. It looks like ACCM is just gonna build a great wall of China over here on the north. He already has all these houses walling it off, and he will add the second layer of stuff as well. Monk trying to yoink the relics here, as now the Rambai dive in, but once again, they will have to disengage. There is gonna be no conversion, but it is 8 Rambai versus 10 Kongs on the field. Nili up to Imperial though. Nili is up to Imperial, ACCM is coming in as well. The question is, what is Nili doing in Imp? It looks like it's gonna be Onager, but Onager and what? Onagers alone won't actually do much to ACCM, especially because he's got 2 castles, and he's mining stone very heavily, so he can go for a 3rd castle, he can go for a couple of War Raiders to snipe Onagers. So, yeah, Nili is up to Imperial, but he doesn't have any army going for him right now. Just Onagers won't actually save the day for it. It looks like it's gonna be full Onagers, though. Maybe the idea is an early Imperial Age and Onager or Rambai, but still, I feel like despite the fact that Nili is faster to Imperial, he has no army. And that is a fast Torsion Engines play. That's super fast. Torsion Engines is very, very expensive. It's like 1600 food, 800 gold or so, one of the most expensive unique upgrades in the game. Jordan tries another castle here. The problem is that, yeah, Torsion Engine Onager is great, but what do you do against 5 Void Raiders here? Yes, he will go for Halberdiers, that's fairly straightforward, but currently has 1 Barracks and he's making Pikemen without upgrades. So, I mean, the Onagers will be there, the Torsion Engines will be there, but if there's no support to that siege, it means absolutely nothing, and you see 3 Void Raiders come out and -2 Onagers, and those are expensive units here. That is the problem. That is the main problem. That if it was Hub and Onager, I would say it's fine. Even then, you need something to take these castles down with. But 2 Onagers without any support feels so underwhelming, and even though Nili had like a 2-minute lead to Imperial, he couldn't do anything with it. I feel like the Torsion Engines might have been too early. It's a great upgrade, but it's so expensive that you don't really want to grab it this early. You probably want to prioritize getting some beef for your army. So, Elite Void Raider coming in here for ACCM, and ACCM can go for his own Onagers with Furor Celtica. And Nili setting up the traps right now. We'll have Stone Walls coming in on the left side from Jordan, Stone Walls as well for ACCM and Say My Name, so everybody's preparing for a long game in this one now. And now it's Torsion Engines, Bombard Cannons as well, they're actually starting to become scary, and now that the Rambai are here, this is actually slightly better for Nili and Jordan. They still need to make sure they keep the Onagers alive, but you gotta be careful now if you're ACCM, because it looks like this will be a full Rambai and Onager play. Nili is not gonna make anything else other than siege. You need to get some good Onager hits on those Kongs to make this work though. Here come the Void Raiders, then Torsion Engines Onagers are beastly, man. Nice round from the Vietnamese team though, and I feel like once again the trades are fairly satisfactory for them here. Take down 3 Onagers, a Bombard Cannon for what? 6, 7 Void Raiders? Conquistadors will just finish off the rest of the Rambai. And, oh, they even open up the gates. Jordan opens up the gates, and that means that the Void Raiders will flood into Nili's base, taking down another Bombard Cannon. Now Void Raiders with fairly good upgrades. They have Elite, +4 defense, no attack upgrades, but they're inside Nili's base now with no defense whatsoever. And we haven't even seen Say My Name committing that much to army right now. That's the brutal thing. That Say My Name only went for a couple of Conquistadors. Nili's already being trapped down quite badly, and it looks like Say My Name has a bit of a production issue here. He tries to go full conk. I feel like this is tricky because Rambai would eat your heavy cavalry, but I could still make a case for just Paladin in general for Say My Name. Jordan is going for heavy on Rambai though, and Rambai can still be scary. So a Rambai Onager might still win you the game here, as weird as it sounds like. Nili is going for full Siege Onager. It really looks awkward, and it requires perfect team coordination from Nili and Jordan. If they just mess one thing up, they lose their entire army. But Siege Onager together, as Admiral Yi is going to channel his inner doubt here, losing all the villagers on that castle. So if they just make one bad move, they will lose all the onagers. Harambe and onager together are extremely strong, but they need to be together, and that's a big, big, big if right now. 56 army against 33. Imperial Age is in for Jordan just now. A castle comes in from ACCM, as he will probably try to get a couple of traps out to take this castle down. I'm not even sure if this goes up for Jordan. He will try it. He will definitely try it with soon-to-be elite run by Jordan. What are you doing, Jordan? Jordan? Oh my goodness. This is looking really grim for Gamer Legion, not gonna lie. This is looking awful. Like, this castle's almost going down. Now, this is a good fight, though, around by getting some shots on the Void Raiders, but Kongs are still doing the work. And I feel like Kongs and Void Raiders just seem enough here. Siege Onagers. Nili has a lot of Onagers. That's for sure. But is that going to do anything? Now, Nili is stacking into infantry armor. Jordan has to cancel that castle at 85% or so. That hurts so much for Jordan, losing most of the stone investment. Elite Kong coming in for Say My Name for the time being. And Nili is gonna move out with Hub and Siege. And that's a lot of Siege, man. That's a lot of Siege. But ACCM is also getting his own Siege in, and I actually prefer Furor Celtic Onagers compared to Torsion Engines Onagers, although it depends on the micro. So, Void Raider is now trying to go for a raid here. They will eventually get cleaned up. They try to snipe this TC, and they will be successful doing so. This wasn't a good one for ACCM though, losing way too many Void Raiders. He apparently is looking over here, where Nili is unleashing the Death Ball, but once again, where is the support for your Onagers, man? Oh man, I mean, if you land perfect ground attacks, you can kill Void Raiders with Onagers. But he once again traded, what, 5-6 Onagers to like 15 Void Raiders? Every time that happens, that's gonna be something that the Celts love. And the Conquistadors are also in, by the way, through this hole that was just made apparently by Nili, because I don't see anyone blasting their way through here. Currently, there is Void Raiders inside the eco of Nili, as things are falling apart for Gamer Legion, trying to tech into Habadir, but I mean, at this point, Conquistador, Void Raider, and Siege should be able to stop this one, and now there is soon Siege Rams coming in. Vietnam looking extremely sharp in this one, as Nili's Voyagers are getting absolutely torn apart. So, technically he could switch into Arbalest, but even if it's Arbalest, there is going to be Siege Rams supporting from ACCM. He could go Onagers, and Nili doesn't have the time to tech into Arbs. Siege Ram just now coming in here. On the left side, we already have a big Siege Ram push being prepared as well by ACCM and Say My Name. They're already establishing trade, even though it's a little wacky because it goes to this market. But Nili is down to 118 Voyagers. Voyager count is still decent for Gamer Legion, but it would take sort of a miracle to stop this one. To be honest, Furor Celtica on the way for ACCM, so he's gonna have all the upgrades on those Rams. Jordan is going to keep losing Voyagers on the left side on this gold mine. It's 48 elite Conquistadors on the field, and it looks like Say My Name himself will attack into Rams. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's actually a very nice Onager shot. Wait. Hold on. I said it's a nice Onager shot. I lied, man. One Void Raider, and it looks like it was ground attacks from Nili. Nili did ground attack, and he just Onagered all the Arambai from Jordan. Oh. I feel like the best thing to do right now is just call it and reset mentally, because I feel like everything that can possibly go wrong goes wrong for GL. And this is what I was talking about, that Arambai Onager is a great unit composition, but you need perfect coordination. If you don't have it, you will just lose everything. It was a nice shot indeed, it's just nice shot for who? Apparently this is the hill of Doubt Castles, because this is the second Doubt Castle of the game on this hill. 2 more Onagers go down to 3 Void Raiders in this one. Trade already being established here by Vietnam, and Gamer Legion 52 army against 94, 24 elite Void Raiders out there with 12 Siege Ram, but more importantly, this is the problem now. That Nili, okay, he's got the Onagers, but what is Jordan going to do against a massive amounts of Siege Ram and 57 elite Conquistadors? It looks like Nili wants to make Onagers inside his teammate's base here as well. as now it's halberdiers from Nili, but that will just be eaten up by the Void Raiders. 2 Trebs trying to take down these buildings, but the Void Raiders will just run in and finish off all the hubs and probably the Trebs as well. Another castle goes down from Jordan. Jordan is only on 2 castles now, which means he doesn't really have the production for a run by. You see that he's only at 2 currently. And keep in mind, this is Regicide Fortress, so if you lose your king, it's over. Jordan resigns, and with that, Vietnam Legends striking strong over here. I feel like this is a somewhat unexpected result, because it's one thing that Vietnam is winning, but they're winning very, very dominantly. They're super dominant right now in this one. And with that, Vietnam takes game number 2 over here. ACCM, by the way, had a crazy eco. I would like to give credit to ACCM because his build here was absolutely bonkers. That super duper clean fast castle, 66,000 resources over everybody else. Look at that. ACCM played a 10 out of 10 game in this one. His KD wasn't that amazing, but he was fighting as onagers, so that's not something that he should be very, very scared of. SayMyName also had a really good game as well. 83 kills for 39 deaths, using the Conquistadors very well. ACCM's eco build-up was extremely good. SayMyName's unit control was extremely good. Vietnam looking really sharp so far. So we'll go back to the lobby, and let us hope that this is not going to turn into a 3-0, but current tendencies show that. But there is one more map, at least, that Gamer Legion has a good shot on, and that is Team Islands. Admiral Yi, or Admiral Jordan, having a rough time in the middle of the desert. Let's see if the sea actually fits him better. It is most likely going to be Italians, Byzantines versus Vikings, Koreans, I would assume. So let's take a look at game number 3. We are going into Team Islands. Admiral Jordan and his fellow hippo Nili will actually take a fight here on Team Islands. We will have Nili as red Byzantines, and Jordan is going to be playing Italians in yellow. It is a nice combination of civilizations for islands. Other side will be ACCM for Vikings in blue, and the absolutely unpredictable Gothic landing is going to occur. This is an interesting, a very, very interesting setup here. One thing I do not necessarily like about the Goths is that if this game somehow goes into Imperial, they won't have a good navy. By the way, this is indeed the Roman Empire versus the barbarians, so to say. The Byzantines, the Eastern Roman Empire versus the Italians, the Western Roman Empire versus the Nordic Raiders in blue, and the Goths. Indeed, they never fought historically on Team Islands though, but kind of feels like a historical matchup, so to say. So one thing I don't like about Goths here is that, yeah, sure, the plan is landing, but what if your landing doesn't work out? Now, Goths actually have a fairly okay navy, believe it or not. I would have thought that Goths will be used alongside Indians on Team Acropolis, because Indians Goths on Team Acropolis is crazy. But do you guys know how good Gothic navy is? They do have fast fires, they have heavy demos, they have galleons with bracer. The only thing that they are missing is dry dock. Gothic navy is actually not bad, believe it or not. I actually thought it's way worse, but holy smokes, in this case, there's a chance we won't see a landing. I would think there is still going to be one, but think about it this way. A civ that has fully upgraded galleon, they're missing dry dock, which obviously hurts, but other than that, it is fairly good for a civilization that isn't actually a water civ by any means. So, on the other side, Nili is gonna be playing Byzantines, that's gonna be a fire ship civ, and one of the reasons why I like Goths here is because they can go heavy demos and sink the fire ships of the opponent. Still, I would assume that there is gonna be a landing from the Gothic player, but the good news for them is that even if that landing fails, they will have a shot at fighting war, and that's very important. Like, if you pick a civ that has very, very bad water, and then you fail with the landing, you won't be able to do anything else. You want to pick a landing safe that's at least somewhat okay on water. Let's say have galleons with the bracer, because that way they're at least capable of contributing something on water fights if the landing fails. So, Admiral Jordan on the south in yellow, pushing in the air for the time being. Islands seem to be fairly well balanced, and let me count. Okay, the gold mine count is good now. I'm actually counting this because yesterday some sharp-eyed people noted that one of the games on Team Islands actually had the one team having 7 and the other having 8 gold mines, which apparently was a map bug in that case, because we'd put a special emphasis at balancing out Team Islands. After the AoE zone drama with, I think, 2v2 World Cup, having unbalanced Team Islands, we specifically made sure that Team Islands has the same amount of gold and stone for all teams. We tried to balance out wood as much as possible as well, but that's a little bit hard to balance out. But in one of the games yesterday, we had 7 versus 8 gold mines, so I had to count these over here. It's not like we could change anything if this happened, because these games have already been played, but I just wanted to make my, soul certain about the fact that we don't have more gold mines for one team, and it's 8 versus 8 here in this one, indeed. 1 primary gold for each player with 7 tiles, then 2 patches of 4 tiles each, and then 1 neutral gold for each player with 3 tiles each. We have a back dock coming in for ACCM. Looks like this is going to be a straight fast castle from him. And it's going to be a front dock for SayMyName. There is no guarantees this is a landing, because if this was a landing, I would assume that you would go for a back dock. Because front dock landing is kind of crazy, because you will lose your fishing eco immediately. It looks like the fuel age times are actually fairly comparable for SayMyName and ACCM, so ACCM actually goes for galleys here and not a fast castle. But still went for back dock. He'll probably drop dock number 2 and 3 over here for some more efficiency. Double front docks from Jordan and Nili. It looks like we have a double fire galley play. And there is the transport. So I think it's predictable, but I was hoping that SayMyName won't go for landing here. So with that, we will have the 2 scouts being transported through. Let's see if Nili will actually spot this one, because they are actually very, very close to each other, so there is a legitimate chance that Nili will spot this. I'm going to turn this on, so you see Nili's POV, and in the shadows you see this transport ship. So that is the transport landing in the middle of the island. That's the best place to land, because that's the lowest probability of finding an opponent at that position. So the landing will be successful, as you see. No idea for Game Legion that that landing occurred, although I think they could somewhat expect it. Nili's gonna go double dock fire galleys on the front, and we will have apparently a transport from Jordan. Interesting. This transport will bump into the... Oh boy. Now they see the scouts, so Nili's gonna scramble for wars, and it looks like Jordan actually made the transport himself. I'm not sure if this is a misclick or whatsoever, but look at those romantic transports. One transport right next to the other. And it looks like maybe Jordan wanted to land, because Jordan is only 1 dock. And indeed, Jordan is landing. I like this a lot for GL, and this reminds me a lot, as Nili is going to lose a villager, to the Jordan versus Kaposh Decider series in Hidden Cup 4 qualifiers. Jordan went for landing with a civ that's unpredictable to land. I don't know, I think it was Portuguese landing. And he surprised Kaposh so much that Kaposh fell apart. And really, this is why I like that a little bit better. Being able to land with civs that aren't necessarily guaranteed to land is the key. And I don't think, considering that ACCM has landed with his scout, they probably don't know about this landing just yet. They have an outpost. Nili loses quite a lot of villagers here. He's down... Actually, he only lost 1. That's a nice one from Nili. Or they free scouts him from SayMyName. Nili trying to wall himself off as much as possible. Loses another villager over here. But keep in mind, Nili's fishing eco is safe. So is Jordan's fishing eco, whereas SayMyName is already forced to run. And Jordan is playing patient. He's waiting. he shows the scout now, so Say My Name goes, or ACCM knows what's up, but this is the difference between a scout's and an archer's landing. A scout's landing might be walled out, even though this could be another dead villager from Nili. An archer landing cannot be walled out, you have to go defensive towers. Nili loses another villager in the process, now down by 3, but ACCM is going to lose 1 over here as well. And I feel like once Nili's walls are up, he's gonna be good to go, and that's a major difference. It might seem like Nili lost a lot, but keep in mind that Nili is killing the fishing eco of the opponent and Nili's fishing eco itself is untouched, so I don't think Nili is playing bad in this one. He is losing villagers back at home because they were somewhat unprepared for the scout's landing, and that's a little bit sloppy in my perspective, you know, being unprepared for a landing against gods. But Jordan's landing is doing work, and also Nili's landing is, or Nili's water push is doing work here as well, cleaning up the fishing eco of Say My Name. Nili actually has a very good fishing eco himself, so if you look at the overall ecos, Nili is pretty much just in this game, no problems for him, and it looks like Say My Name for now is just going to mine gold on this island. Jordan will keep pushing with archers, goes for the tower on the stone mine of the opponent, and that's extremely important. ACCM wants to go for a defensive tower, but he can't. ACCM doesn't have wood income. Oh my goodness, that is a disaster for ACCM. I'm just looking at this right now. ACCM made the defensive tower on the gold mine, but because he's unable to mine stone, he can't go for another defensive tower. Without another defensive tower, he can't go for wood. ACCM will be completely out of wood, and Admiral Jordan showing his worth on islands. I mean, this is already a disaster situation for ACCM. The galleys will clean up Jordan's fishing eco, that's one thing to consider, but now Nili's eco is completely untouched. Nili can potentially buy himself up to Castle Age here soon and just go for fire ships and win water that way. Eco-wise, Vietnam is still leading, and it looks like ACCM will squeeze in a tower for himself. He had enough. He actually took some stone away from the stone mine, I believe, so he was able to afford a second tower, so he seems to stabilize for some time. But I mean, still the pressure is quite big on him. Jordan is gonna be safe at home, so is Nili, but you shouldn't sleep on this landing still, because you got the walls up, but it doesn't guarantee you surviving. And there's quite a lot of galleys out for ACCM, as he's massing more. And currently, navy numbers are 5 fire galleys for Nili and 10 galleys on the opponent. And oh boy, the walls are not up yet though. Jordan yoinks another voyager over here, and defensive tower had to be made from Say My Name as well. 2 towers already. That is a massive investment in Feudal Age for the Vietnamese team. Both of them are getting close to clicking up to Castle Age, especially ACCM. ACCM's fishing eco was untouched, by the way, 7 fishing ships overall. Nili has some nice fishing eco working for him as well from a back dock. So, in terms of overall ecos, I feel like the two teams are fairly head-to-head. Castle Age will be coming in approximately the same time for ACCM and Nili. Jordan is gonna be the last player, I believe, to click up, but I mean, his landing convinces me quite a lot, and he's gonna have crossbows soon. He's going to launch an attack to the back of Say My Name's base, and look at how much Say My Name has to go for defensive towers. That's why I think an archer landing is better than a scout's landing. Against the scout's landing, you make walls. Against archers, you gotta make towers. And you see that there is a lot of idle time on that eco because of that, and there is a lot of, like, just a big need to mine stone. Still, you gotta be careful with gods mining stone, because if Say My Name just decides that, hey, I have 2 villagers here, I'm going to make a castle here, and starts making huskars on your island, suddenly that could be very, very troublesome. And it looks like ACCM is without fletching right now, which hurts quite badly against Byzantine fire galleys. But still, he should be good to go, still without a blacksmith, I believe. That's a lot of archers from Jordan, though. Jordan 140 away from Castle Age. Nili is the fastest to castle for now, chasing down some galleys on the left side. And ACCM really needs fletching for his ships, because otherwise he isn't going to be able to easily destroy those fire galleys, and Byzantine fire ships will just overrun him very, very easily. The transport is still alive, by the way, from Say My Name. I can't actually find it, it's actually over here. As now we have archers from Say My Name as well, to deny the second layers, something that Jordan's gonna have to be careful about. He made a stable back at home, so he will make a couple of knights to clean this one up. Jordan looping around with the archers, trying to find an angle to attack on Say My Name's island, but Look at Say My Name's tower defense. 5 towers. This looks like a campaign map, to be honest. It's like objective, destroyed the towers of the opponent. We will have fire ship coming in here in a moment for Nili. Those will be scary fire ships. And I would think that the idea, considering that ACCM is gonna be up to Castle Age soon as well for War Galleys, is that you go for an early imp for Nili and go for fast fires and try to win. That way, fast careening for those fire ships. So he's gonna have some extra pierce armor on those. Botkin just now coming in for ACCM, who apparently cancelled War Galley. ACCM cancelled War Galley here, interesting. Is he gonna switch completely to longboats? I feel like you can actually pull the trigger on War Galley when you have 9 galleys on the field. That could be a problem. This could be a big mistake, as speaking of mistakes, Jordan didn't actually rewall his base in time, and now the archers and scouts break into his base. He has a knight out, but that doesn't change the fact that he lost 1 villager, loses 2 villagers, make it 3, I believe. Nope, it's just gonna be 2. Still, Jordan losing 2 villagers is not ideal, and I actually consider it a big mistake from ACCM not going for War Galley here, because he's trying to switch to longboats, but that means that those galleys will be obsolete, and instead of having 9 war galleys on the field that buys you time to switch to longboats, you have a bunch of galleys that are useless against fire ships, and you don't really have the longboat numbers. If they lose this game, then one of the things to look at here will be the full longboat choice instead of getting the war galley upgrade first. Mangonel defense coming in here for ACCM. Nice find from Nili's team. Jordan picks off 2 villagers over there as well. And we got, oh no, no, disaster piece from Nili here. He's losing so many villagers. Apparently the knights have just broken through here, and now there is like 5 knights inside Nili's eco. He's trying to go for monastery, but that's gonna be at least a lot of idle eco. He does corner ACCM's fleet in here though, so that's something to point out, but longboats actually do pretty decently against fire ships. So yeah, the galleys go down, but the longboats won't, and the fishing eco of ACCM is also kept alive. Very, very nicely done by ACCM over there to save his fishing eco, and whenever the pressure is gone, he's just gonna go back and continue fishing. Jordan, he is mining stone with 2 only. Nili is down to 55 villagers, which, by the way, is still the best in the game. It's still the best in the game. That's crazy. Nili lost 14 villagers, only killed 2. But he still has 57 villagers, which is the best in the game. So Nili's got a crazy fish boom. And as bad as his land eco is, he still has the eco lead over everybody else. Still, I think that he needs to go early Imperial to have a shot against the longboats with fire ships. For now, Jordan still applies pressure over here as Say My Name cleans up the crossbows on his farms, and behind this one, Jordan is doing everything he can to make sure that this is not a 3-0, because we will have the crossbows picking off villagers from ACCM here, denying a gold mine, and now there is going to be mangonels coming. Mangonels potentially towards the base of Say My Name, who could be in trouble because of that. It looks like Say My Name will disengage from Nili's base, and they will head towards Jordan. Jordan does have an opening here. Oh no. Jordan, that could be a disaster. The knights run past. In the right side corner, we have Nili's fleet engaging the longboats. ACCM should have no trouble microing that, but he's gotta be careful. There's a lot of places to look at. Nice quick walls from Jordan over here. The knights don't commit, and while ACCM is forced to micro his longboats, he is actually going to have to get this TC up as well, which will be successful as well. We will have the mangonels taking down the town center here. This could be very troublesome for ACCM though. It looks like crossbows will be here to deny the back of this wood line, so we'll have 3 TCs for Say My Name. It's a fairly strong broom. Other angle, Say My Name breaks through the walls here with the mangonel and knights. Now there's monks coming in. Jordan is gonna have to go for his own siege workshop to defend. This game is super chaotic. There's so many places to look at. There is water fights, there is fights over here from Jordan, there is fights at Nili's base. Now we're looking at a fight at Jordan's base. Overall eco is way better for GL though, and that's something to point out, because GL has an untouched fishing eco, especially in Nili. And As underwhelming as Nili was in the first two games, I feel like this is a very good game from Nili. He's not playing 100% still, I believe, and like letting those knights inside his eco was a disaster. But he's at 86 villagers and not that bad, to be honest. In fact, it's a very good villager count for him. It looks like we have a 2-for-2 mangonel trade over here from ACCM and Jordan. Now Jordan might be heading towards Say My Name. So mangonel's shelling the TC here for Jordan. Jordan trying to keep it up, and this is what I was pointing out. Nili is getting close to Imp. And don't sleep on Nili going for fast fires and taking water. Because if that happens, and Nili could also be mining stone, indeed Nili is mining stone. So Nili will make a defensive castle, will make a couple of traps to clean up the stuff on his island, and then fast fires should be winning the water. And if they win water, ACCM is gonna lose some fishing eco. Still, this is a very much open game here, as the crossbows from Jordan will break into the base of Say My Name. Say My Name forced to go for a defensive siege workshop. As Jordan might lose that mangonel to the knights. There is just one monk to get conversions in. Those knights have some pretty decent upgrades overall. Not a lot, but +1 defense, and bloodlines are in. They snipe down the mangonel, they snap down 2 monks, and Jordan is having a tough time defending against these knights as well over here. He's too busy fighting on the other side. Still, the eco lead is on the side of Gamer Legion, but if you take a look at the KDs, that should be massively in the favor of the Vietnamese team. 28-20, 41-32 indeed, ACCM and SayMyName leading in KD by a massive margin. And defensive castle coming in for Admiral Yi. And one thing to consider is that he can just make Genoese crossbows. And Genoese crossbows will stop the knights. And the fast fires from Nili could actually take this one down very easily. Nili looks to sandwich this horde of longboats in between his fleets. Nili coming in with a demo. ACCM reacts to that. Nili still needs to wait until he has fast fires, but then he can take over water, and that is not something to overlook. A TC coming in here from Say My Name on the opponent's island. They're heading back towards Nili, and Nili is open. Nili is open from multiple directions. Rushes back to the TCs for the time being for some protection. He's also mining stone like a madman, so he wants a defensive castle himself. Jordan is gonna take some time until he gets those Genoese crossbows over here. Nili attacks into Galleon, cancels, and goes for fast fires. And oh no, that is a lot of villagers from Nili. All the eco advantage that he has had is now gone. He's losing 25 villagers, down to 87. He had a crazy eco lead, but all of it is gone. That is just a disaster for him. And this castle might also be stopped. Imperial Age coming in here for ACCM as well, so clock is ticking for Nili as well. Shipwright in for him, but he needs to attack water right here, right now. Imperial Age not in for Jordan yet. He's the only player who hasn't clicked up just yet. Nili trying to stop this as much as possible, but the castle's gonna be cancelled. Goes for another defensive tower, or a defensive castle here. That should slow this down, but I mean, now the ecos are getting closer. Still, there is a lead for Vietnam. We'll have a castle protecting this side of the island for ACCM. That's where the docks are at, and that's where the markets will be at. Castle coming in from Jordan on the opponent's island, though, and that could be very troublesome. That could be very troublesome. ACCM sees that, and it's only 2 villagers building it, so ACCM could stop this castle very easily. Still, Nili is under a lot of pressure, and he doesn't have production buildings to fight the knights here. For now, Jordan not making anything to stop this, and there is a castle as well from Say My Name, and he could start making Huskars, even though Caraprax will just eat Huskars. Right now, Jordan, last player to click up into Imperial, he's gonna be quite a bit behind, but fast fires are moving in towards the base of ACCM, who is stacking into a couple of demos. Oh boy, this is looking really grim for Gamer Legion right now. Longboats hitting the back of Nili's fishing eco as well, and that would also be an added disaster. Now the fire galleys will take some very good fights over here against the longboats, but it's just 18 fire ships against, honestly, 19 longboats. It's 19 longboats only, and even more importantly, Jordan keeps these villagers alive. Jordan keeps these villas alive, and that means that this castle is gonna go up. This is something that could have been stopped. Anarchy coming in. Anarchy man on Team Islands from Say My Name. as Nili is using the traps to take down the Mangonels. One Mangonel goes down. Jordan's still 1 minute away from Imperial, but he's gonna get that castle up and he's gonna have Arbalest to push this one. And Arbalest and Trap could be something that's tough for ACCM to fight here. He's going for another castle soon. Goes for some traps here to defend as well. Nili's fire ships are doing the work here. It's only 13 longboats on the opponent's side, but Nili only has 19 fire ships as well. And even more importantly, Anarchy and Perfusion could be tough to fight. I think it's still doable for Nili's team because Nili is gonna have Catapracts available. So castle for Jordan, he won't have the chance to repair this. He won't have the chance because he only has 2 Voyagers here, so this castle is almost guaranteed to go down. What he can hope for is that he can get some Bombard Cannons out of those workshops before they go down, and go Arbalest Bombard Cannon. Nili still alive here as Huskars on islands, man. Huskars on islands. This is why the Tupu's format is so interesting, man. I mean, does Nili have Greek Fire on those ships? I don't think that he does. But you would never see gods being played on Team Islands. And it looks like Jordan is going to take into condos, but I'm not sure how condos do against the Huskars. They shouldn't really be doing well. Defensive castles up here for Jordan. I think it should be Catapracts from Nili, honestly. Just go Catapracts and those will melt the infantry. Nice fight over there from Nili, a very nice fight actually, and ACCM is only at 11 longboats. Nili has 21 fast fires stacking into galleons. Hold on for a second. Because these condos, they're actually fairly decent against Huskars, believe it or not, even though the upgrades aren't really there. Nili will need some Catapracts, as he's trying to take that Mangonel down with the trap, or just focus down the monks. The water is still in the hands of Nili's team. Oh boy, the Arbalest from Jordan getting absolutely torn apart by the Huskars. SayMyName is doing an excellent job, by the way, on both islands. But the Flood of Condottiere are coming in, it's 80 HP, 10 damage versus 60 HP, 12 damage. Indeed, Condos should be able to win against Huskars by a narrow margin, although champions from gods should be able to dominate that. And it looks like Vietnam is cleaning up the landing on their side of the island. We'll see if we see some hand cannoneers from Nili's team. And a second castle comes in for Nili right now. Quick walls those vultures out. Look at this peaceful group of knights. Oh, it was so cool. 2 knights got converted by the monks. And these knights for SayMyName are just chilling here. Nili having a kamikaze trap over here. Oh my god, where do I even look with all this chaos? Oh boy. So, it looks like things are stabilizing for now. And at the end of the day, the ecos are dead even. Nili is actually winning water, so he's having a fairly decent water engagement. But while Vietnam has already cleaned up all the landing from Gamer Legion, as Jordan is going to lose that blacksmith before the +2 attack would kick in, that hurts so much. But Condos taking the fight against the Huskars over here. The Huskars now are elite though, 70 HP, 16 damage. Condos only have 11 damage here with free melee armor. But Jordan apparently edging this out. I think a couple of Catapracts would be extremely important. And indeed, here come the Catapracts. And the Trebs are shelling this castle already. If the castle goes down, Catapracts will just wreck everything that SayMyName has over here. Still a lot of longboats, and elite longboat is now coming in. Nili trying his best to deny the shoreline with some galleons and harass the opponent's eco that way. Castle still up over here, as we do have the Catapracts moving in from Nili. And the Condos, man, who would have thought that Condos beat the Huskars? And I mean, these are not well upgraded Condottiere for Jordan. In fact, he doesn't even have a blacksmith right now that he can use to upgrade them, but holy guacamole, as Nili would say, they are actually slowing this push down. And now the castle is dead. Nili cleans it up with Catapracts from the left side, and Jordan comes in with Condos from the right, and Catapracts will eat Huskars for breakfast, that's for sure. And we will get to the stage where I believe, as I said, that having 2 good civs on water could still be the thing. Blockade runner coming in here, berserks and rams being dropped off, transport ship immediately going down after. These rams won't really do much, to be honest. The traps are still standing, so Jordan is keeps losing barracks right now. Ship numbers, 28 longboats versus only 11 galleons though. Nili's ships are getting cleaned up in here, and the second castle is being attempted here by SayMyName with the forward base that he has. Catapracts will be unleashed, so will the condos. Condos still not getting any more upgrades. Jordan lost that blacksmith, and he didn't rebuild it after, but there is no guarantees that this castle goes up. Nili has to focus down the villagers. Quick walls coming in here as well from SayMyName, and the trebs will be down, that's for sure, but I think this castle might actually end up going up. Trebs already being brought in here by Nili as Jordan techs into Shipwright and War Galley. And Team Islands, man, often just bring in insanely good games. Oh, the castle is actually stubbed. The castle is stubbed. SayMyName's landing here will be cleaned up. And this is the moment where we're looking at, okay, all the landings have been cleaned up. I think it's a clean sheet right now for the two teams. Landings have been cleaned up. Navy numbers are better right now for ACCM. But SayMyName is not even close to adding ships, whereas Jordan is already teching into some of his own ships here as well. Careening just now coming in. Greek fire for Nili. He's gonna have the extra range on those fire ships, and they do take down all these barracks. So they will have a bunch of land army that they won't really be able to use. I wonder if they will try transporting them through. Galleon coming in for ACCM in a moment. Still a couple of Huskars coming in from SayMyName to try and do as much harassment as possible over here. And for now, it seems like things are stabilizing. Trade being established by both teams in this one. It's 7 galleons for only 7 fire ships versus 41 elite longboats though. Jordan trying to do redocking on the right side, techs into a galleon. And that's gonna be quite a lot of galleons soon from Italians. Over here, Voyagers finally getting cleaned up, so it looks like it's a big cleanup, nearly all the Catapracts in the world, and now it is a dead even game. Trade card numbers, let's talk about those. 13 trade cards for Nili, 0 for Jordan, but 17 overall for the Vietnamese team, so the trades are kind of even currently, but there's nothing protecting the trade for Gamer Legion here on the left side, whereas for Vietnam, they do have buildings protecting the trade on both sides. So castles here, defensive castles are extremely important. So that's going to be an interesting factor to take a look at. Trebs taking down the barracks right now. If you look at the relic count for a moment, you can see that it's 2 relics for both Gamer Legion players, 2 for ACCM, but SayMyName hasn't picked up his 2 relics. There is 4 relics on each island, 2 for each player. SayMyName also needs to pick up relics because this game could potentially go long. A landing with Huskars coming in on the right side, but Nili has enough Catapracts to just send them over here and clean this up. In fact, Nili goes for chain barring, makes me wonder if we will see a landing attempted on this side. Huskars run in here, and you have to go for a couple of defensive Catapracts apparently, because the Vietnamese team will just keep trying to land. Nili indeed tries to play blockade runner over here. He's getting overrun by the famous and well-renowned Gothic fire ships as he's trying to tech into heavy demo. Goes with the Catapracts, 13 Catapracts inside that transport, jukes the first volley of the castle, and that is a big landing. And what are you gonna do to stop Catapracts? Because the Gothic infantry flood won't work. Nili teching into heavy demos himself against the flood of fire ships. Jordan coming in on the other side with the galleons to cut off the reinforcements from our blue player. And Nili is in there with the heavy demos. So there is still Huskars harassing this over here. Manganos trying to clean this up as much as possible. 33 galleons now against 46 longboats. Also 25 fast fires for SayMyName. The problem is that if these longboats are gone, the heavy demos will just absolutely wreck that fleet. Still, the trade of Gamer Legion is completely unprotected. It looks like we will have a tech into plate barring even for Nili. He will do his best to hit the eco of ACCM because the longboats are more concerning. Heavy demos could pop out any moment, and that could be a disaster for Vietnam. Now they're harassing the trade though. Trade counts are still very, very close, but Nili's trade could be exposed to some aggression. Heavy demos come in! The heavy demos, man! Nili comes in with the clutch, sinks the entire fleet over here. Oh my lord, that was enormous. And suddenly, more heavy demos coming in, the longboats doing their best to snipe them from a distance, more fast fires on the way. Other side, Jordan is slowly winning war as galleons are being added by his opponent, and look at this massacre that Nili is doing here with the Carapracts. Eventually, the pikemen will clean this up, but he killed so many villagers, and probably that distraction contributed to the fact that he was able to sink the opponent's fleet so easily. Cannon Galleon being tagged into by Jordan. He's already ready to start shelling these buildings here. It looks like Gamer Legion doesn't want to go down 3-0, and they want to fight on. Nili's fleet isn't impressive, but now Jordan is up to 72 galleons, man. So Nili did his job here, made sure that he slows down this fleet as much as possible. He's trying to get some more fast fires and heavy demos in as the markets are being taken down. But Jordan, Admiral Yi is back, my friends. Admiral Yi is back. 73 fleet right now for him, as once again the heavy demos pop out. Those are, by the way, Byzantine fire ships with Greek fire. Nili tries to get a castle up over here on the shoreline, and it looks like since the longboats are focusing over here, the castle might go up. ACCM sandwiching the fleet of Jordan in between his two fleets, but Nili now winning the left side, I believe, or at least he's taking a fairly acceptable engagement, especially if reinforcements come in. Now, Nili getting a couple of Carapracts out. I wonder if that's the next wave for a landing, and it is apparently a bunch of pikemen being assembled for landing. This looks really cool, but there is places elsewhere to look at. 68 navy right now for Jordan, already getting cannon galleons out, as it looks like SayMyName is going to switch to the right side to try and fight all those galleons with the fast fires. Nili is bringing in the demos, and SayMyName has split away his fleet from the teammates' fleet, and if the heavy demos come in, they could just absolutely annihilate all those fire ships. SayMyName has to focus down the heavy demos here. He's doing so far. They're getting closer. Land a shot, but that wasn't really amazing so far. As long as those longboats are alive, Nili isn't able to land some big demo hits. As I'm saying that, there was a couple of good connections, more fire ships coming in on the other side. Jordan getting pushed back a little bit as well, comes in with the demo ships. They don't have heavy demos available, as ACCM is going for elite cannon galleon already. Navy numbers still seem to be favoring the Vietnamese team, but Nili once again with the blockade runner, the absolute blockade runner. He just smuggles 10 Carapracts through the channel here, and these fire ships just don't really care about that right now. And that could be an extremely important move, because Nili and Jordan are slowly losing water apparently here. It is now 46 galleons, 22 longboats versus just 48 galleons from Jordan. Nili's fleet is pretty much non-existent, but Carapracts like this could still swing the battle back in his favor. The longboats are, or the fire ships are soaking up so much fire over here for SayMyName. Vietnamese team still with the lead in terms of score. Trades are head-to-head as well. And what a game. What a game this is. Still, Nili's Carapract raids could actually start causing massive problems for the Vietnamese team. Jordan trading fleets over here. The cannon galleons firing from the back as well, so they do some damage. To demos actually getting some nice connections in here. Some very nice connections for Jordan, sinking quite a lot of those galleons. ACCM is back to just about 48-ish warships. Jordan up to 58. But we have apparently a landing attempted here by ACCM that was halted. Now Nili brings in the galleons to try and take down the war galleys, or the longboats in this fight. But there is still enough fire ships to just force this fleet back from Nili. And Jordan now on the right side. This is the tricky thing. I mean, SayMyName's fleet is going away. He's down to 17 ships. He managed to clean this one up, but look at SayMyName. He has like 30 pikemen on his island defending, and Vietnam is running out of wood soon. Or at least SayMyName does, and if SayMyName runs out of wood, suddenly Nili's galleons and Jordan's galleons combined will be a lot more. It's 26 galleons from Nili, 66 from Jordan. On the other side, it's only 45-ish warships for ACCM. Look at Jordan on the right side, already pushing forward, and the trade is still good for both teams. It's fairly even, I would say. As we'll have a stable coming in here for Nili for whatever reason. He might be mixing in some light cap to try and go for some additional landing. We will have a castle up here for Nili. Keeps adding Carapracts. He wants another landing. Nili just keeps adding landing after landing. All the fleet, the entire fleet of Vietnam converging on the right side. 50 galleons from ACCM. 8 longboats, 38 fast fires over here against a player that doesn't have heavy demos available. On the other side, we will have Nili's fleet moving out though, and Nili, I think, is preparing for the big landing now, with potentially Trebs as well. Land over here and take that castle down, which would be extremely important. Nili has a heavy demo here, but that's all. And they will need some demos to stop all those fast fires. Kept them on the way. For our blue player, that's going to be there to just absorb damage, so to say. Nili will also send his fleet all the way around to try and hit the back of his opponent's navy. It is 52 galleons on this screen versus only 34 from ACCM. ACCM has the galleon numbers, but they're not over here. And that hurts really badly. That they're actually not outnumbering the opponent, despite the fact that they technically could. Nili shows up on the north with his fleet, and here's the landing with the Trebs, as I said. You can start targeting that castle, and if that castle goes down, the landings for Nili will be much easier. Nili gets a couple of his docks up as well, so that he can get a couple of demo hits in here, and just a couple of heavy demos could absolutely be disintegrating the fleet of Vietnam. Jordan mass deleting Voyagers as he's running out of wood on his own island. In fact, Gamer Legion is chopping the final trees on their own island, so is Vietnam. Right now, fleet is 115 versus 120, but Nili shelling that castle. Huskars will be added to save the day here and try and take down that trebuchet. The demos will try to just take down the Huskars, but that's not gonna happen. Nili landing with Hussar though. He's going to go with the Hussar raids now. He already has a couple of chiropracts inside the opponent's eco. Only 93 eco for Jordan, but keep in mind that he's got... Oh boy, that's a very bad sign for Jordan. Jordan only has 17... Wait, no. It's 23 trade. ACCM and Jordan have a very low trade, and that hurts so badly. Now, once again, here come the fireship, but it's only fireships now. No longboat support, and guess what? Heavy demos just eat fast fires. In this situation, another big demo hit could come in here. SayMyName is doing his best to split away from this one, but Nili just absolutely annihilating his fleet here. And Nili will actually wall in the traps here with stone walls to prevent the Huskars from finishing that one off. Right side, Jordan and ACCM running out of wood and gold as well. So whoever has the bigger fleet now could have a massive upper hand over the opponent. Big fight over here. ACCM's fleet is not all fighting, so this is a better fight for Jordan in this one, but ACCM sends all his fleet to the north, trying to stop that trap over there. They need to snipe that trap. You can see that all the fireships are committing everything. Nili is using the Voyagers to repair, and this is an extremely important castle. This is an extremely important castle over here. And with that, the castle is staying up for the time being over here. Nili trying to go for some more landings in here. Jordan taking over the right side though, because ACCM had to draw away his fleet, and Jordan has 41 galleons here against just 25, and he's shelling that castle over there. Still, trade numbers are very low for Jordan, but ACCM's trade numbers are very concerning. 16 trade only. I am sure that he was rated to a certain extent, but 16 trade isn't enough. And I think what could win the game for GL is that they combine for 103 trade, whereas their opponents combine for 62. And it's all about just, you know, having resources now, as you're running out of wood on your island. Having more trade actually wins you the game in this situation. It's still tricky for Nili and Jordan because they don't know how much trade the opponent has, and ACCM could definitely start adding trade. ACCM has no wood. ACCM has no wood. He's floating 12.7k food, but no wood at all. And ACCM is gonna have trouble with gold soon. 17 only on trade as opposed to 33, and that could be very concerning pretty soon for Vietnam. So cannon galleons now coming in for ACCM to try and take down those castles. All they need to do is one landing though, because ACCM is floating so much food. He could send it to SayMyName, and if SayMyName lands with a couple of Huskars, things start to go very badly for Gamer Legion. Once again, heavy demos getting some nice connections in, and every ship that goes down now is extremely painful for both sides. You see the amount of idols now for both teams. Fleet value or overall army value is still better for Vietnam Legends, as this castle from Jordan goes down. And with that castle going down, there is a chance for a landing here, and that's the chance that Vietnam has to grab if they want to have any chance in this game, because their trade is much weaker than Gamer Legion's trade, and credits to GL for adding more trade in this one. So this is the time to shine if you are Say My Name. Land here with 10 villagers, drop off 5 barracks and start spamming Huskars into the opponent's trade, because you gotta weaken that trade, or you have to strengthen yours. But regardless of what you do, you need more trade, or at least you need a more even trade distribution, because GL has 115 trade combined, Vietnam only has 71. So much better trade overall for GL. And Nili is going to use this Hussar sort of as a bait to the fire ships. Now he's unleashing his galleons. It's only 20 galleons from him. Still 52 fast fires for Say My Name. So with that, there is, I believe, a new transport coming in. Indeed, Say My Name will try landing and another castle goes down from Jordan. This game is still very much open in this one. So the fact that Jordan and Nili aren't able to control this crossing is extremely important, because that allows Say My Name and ACCM to go for a landing. Here come the Voyagers. We get a potential landing as well from Nili, I would think. He doesn't have a transport just yet, but he could try landing with Hussar. You see that Say My Name actually has a lot of Huskars over here defending against the landing. Jordan with 50 Voyagers. I don't think that this actually counts the trade numbers though. Or does it? Yeah, it seems like it's counting trade. Jordan has 6 Voyagers alive, the rest of them is all trade. Which could be fine, but I mean, this is still a very low trade number, and this gives time for ACCM and Say My Name to do this, for example. And that is going to be Huskars coming in, and Nili won't really be able to afford to spam Cataphracts now, because he needs to spend his gold on actual combat units on water. So, fire ships. Still, the trade is way better for GL, and that's going to soon start showing on the water fights. It's still 50 combat ships for ACCM. Jordan is at 30 only. Jordan is having a rough time over here, I would say, as the Mangonel will be brought in to clean this one up. There is quite a lot of Cataphracts here alongside Hussar, but Hussar aren't really great against the Huskars. The Voyagers just try to run around and be as annoying as possible, like probably maybe even place houses in the trade. So still, it looks like the transports will be sunk. Say My Name trying to keep flooding Huskars. Cataphracts will be great against them, but Byzantine Hussars are awful. Still, Nili trying to poke and probe over here. It's 26 galleons from him, 30 from Jordan for a combined 56. On the other side, we have about 46 warships from Say My Name alone. And we also have 38 from our green player. By the way, indeed, Say My Name is floating a lot of gold, and that's something that he could actually slink to ACCM for some more ships from our blue player, or ACCM needs more trade. And the thing is that the way that you make more trade is that you need gold. So, Say My Name should sling 1,000 gold for ACCM so ACCM can get his trade up, because these trade numbers are very low for Vietnam. And if this game continues in this way, just a long grindy game, then eventually the team with the better trade is going to win, and that right now is Gamer Legion. So, sure, the fleet is bigger for Vietnam, but they will have a harder time replenishing their fleet if they don't have any trade going, and you see that GL is doing a better job establishing trade, that's for sure. So, with that, Cannon Galleons take down another castle. There is a big landing coming in here from Say My Name once again, coming in with the Huskars to do some raiding damage. Hussars and Cataphracts will fall back to try and battle this one. We have a little bit of a skirmish here on the left side with some galleons. This castle is extremely important for Nili. He can't afford to lose that, because if that castle goes down, then the markets will be super duper exposed. Market prices currently stand as it takes 508 gold to buy 100 wood, ladies and gentlemen. 508 gold to buy 100 wood. That is how expensive wood is, because wood is out of these islands. So, it looks like Nili might be saving up for transport, but from now on, every ship that you take down is extremely expensive. Not because of the gold cost, it's because of the wood cost of this one. Still, it's way better trade for GL, and this is about outlasting your opponent. At some point, GL will have much better resources than Vietnam does. In fact, if you take a look at the ecos, you can already see that, well, right now Jordan's resources are very low, but in terms of gold income, Nili is at 44k, SayMyName ACCM at 37 and 26 respectively. So now you actually send your Voyagers to Shorefish because you're trying to get any kind of resource with them. So that's basically the only thing that you can do with the Voyagers anymore. And also, indeed, now in this situation, you can actually start thinking about generating or killing houses. Because if you kill houses, you limit the opponent's population space. And think about this. It would cost 500 gold to buy the wood that you need to rebuild 3 houses. You kill 3 houses easily, and boom, your opponent has to spend 500 gold trying to rebuild those. It looks like we might have cannon galleons coming in from Jordan now, so they finally seem like they want to decide this engagement, but they gotta be careful. They gotta be really careful. Still, the eco is much better for Nili and Jordan, so that trade is a massive, massive advantage. Overall, 15 hours of idle time for Nili's Voyagers, 8 hours for Jordan's, 19 and 20 hours respectively on the other side. And here come the heavy demos. Just 1 or 2 good demo shots here could be extremely crucial. The longboat sniped the demo before it would connect though. And it looks like now we're gonna have cannon galleons from both sides. Cannon galleons are super expensive, so you gotta be careful with those as well. Vietnam still not having a great trade. They are slowly trying to establish it, but you see that ACCM is not adding more trade. ACCM desperately needs more trade, man. Like, you can't just play with 24 trade in post-imp. So now we're gonna have Nili with 35 galleons. It's a combined 70 fleet against a huge amount of fire ships. But fire ships might not necessarily be the most efficient things. Those demos need to be used against the fire ships. And it looks like now we're gonna have Vietnam moving in. This is a fight that Gamer Legion has to take. They can't afford to lose their trade in this one. Nili moves in from the other side. He doesn't have any demos here to fight this one. If he had like 2 or 3 demos, he would sink a lot of ships. The cannon galleons shelling the dock over here. Cannon galleons will try to take some shots on the opponent's ships here, as SayMyName pings the position of Nili's fleet. On the left side, fire ships will probably jump on Nili's fleet soon. Still, way better trade for Gamer Legion, and 144 trade against just 71 or 81 is just not satisfactory for Vietnam. That's the problem that they're facing, that they will just run out of resources at this pace. Still, they're actually microing those cannon galleons very nicely, trying to take down Jordan's castle. So that could be a castle that's lost. Jordan could lose that castle, and now Nili is using Hussar against fast fire ship. The castle goes down a very, very important moment in the game, potentially, with now the War Galleys fighting this, but there is not enough War Galleys here for ACCM, and he will just lose all of it. With that, the cannon galleons do have some connections as well. Nili does have a couple of demos around to try and sink fast fires with them. Other side, fast fires jump on Nili's ships, but here comes the demo, and that demo could actually sink quite a lot of those fire ships. Other side, there is still some demos here for Nili against those fire ships, but now the cannon galleons are taking down the markets. It's now or never for GL. They have to stop this. If they don't stop this, but here come the demos! Here come the demos in what could be the decider fight of the game, because all those fast fires going down is an absolute disaster for Vietnam. There is still one market up, and on the north we also had all the fast fires going down. There was 53 fast fires at some point, now it's only 18, and rebuilding them is next to impossible now. Especially with just, well, 57 trade cards for SayMyName, but only 24 for ACCM. This is the moment of the game, and we will talk about 58 galleons versus only 18. Gamer Legion has this. Gamer Legion edges out to victory here because there is no way back for Vietnam from this one. They don't have ships anymore, they don't have the eco to rebuild them, and as underwhelming as Nili was in some moments in this series, those demo hits were absolutely crazy. And I'm borderline going to say game saving, because they were very close to losing their trade. And just think about it, losing a market, you have to buy 200 stone to rebuild it. 200 stone is about 1,000 gold worth. Losing a market hurts really badly in a situation like this. You still gotta be careful if you're Jordan and Nili, but now the options are running out for Vietnam. They don't have anything to go. Soon you transport your villagers and fight with them, because that's your only shot. So, if you would have to summarize this, this wasn't just about the demos, but also about the fact that Vietnam struggled a little bit to build up their eco. So, still just about 80 trade cards, not really something that you really like. So, this should be like 100 trade cards by now, especially because there is no villagers left, or no resources for the villagers to use. So, like, ACCM could have sold some food, tried to get at least a couple more trade cards up. I feel like the transition from Gamer Legion to this super post-Imperial scenario was better, because they were able to just go for more trade, and that is what is propelling them to victory right now. You garrison the villagers into castles because they can't do anything else, so might as well add some firepower to your castles, but losing docks is extremely expensive now, keep that in mind. Every dock that goes down, every house that goes down the shoreline is an awfully expensive thing for Vietnam, as that's the last remains of ACCM's fleet, with little hope to rebuild anything. He's trying to snag down the cannon galleons from Jordan, but I think that Jordan and Nili now feel the blood in the water, and Admiral Jordan apparently coming in for a win on water once again. Land didn't work that well for Gamer Legion, but they're not ready to go out just yet. The castle is slowly going down. Needless to say, every bit of building now that goes down, including buildings that cost stone, are actually insanely painful for Vietnam. They are down to 67 army, but most of that is actually Huskars. There's actually a lot of fast fires coming from the other side, and this is the big move of Vietnam. They want to sandwich the two fleets in between them, but without longboat or galleon support, the fast fires will just die to the demos, and I think that's the problem. Like, the idea is good here. You want to sandwich this fleet in between your fleet from ACCM and in between these fast fires, in a hope that you can somehow get some very, very good engagements with those fast fires, but Nili is already prepared with demos. If there wasn't any demos here, this would be very troublesome for Jordan and Nili, but here come the fast fires. Nili will spot them and immediately dispatch the demos, I believe. The castle is still being repaired, as ACCM is slowly trickling out some more ships, but really, wood price right now, wood price is up to 871 gold for 100 wood. I'm going to repeat, to buy 100 wood, you have to spend 871 gold. That is hilarious. If you actually compare that to the fact that a trade cart with one passage goes 60 gold, you're gonna get to the point where really buying wood is no longer an option. It's so expensive. And really, look at this. The trade numbers is what winning this game from Gamer Legion. They just have better trade, so they can afford to, you know, at least get a couple of ships out, whereas Vietnam isn't really able to go for that. So now it looks like Nili is going to chase down that fleet of fast fares, although he doesn't have the demos here. Obviously doesn't want to use his demos now, because demos are super expensive. So when you don't have wood, demos are extremely painful. Stone is running out for ACCM as well. ACCM sold all his food. That's their final bits of resources left. ACCM sold like 10,000 food, that's why he has some gold for some ships. Or, well, not even the gold, the wood is the problem. So, with that, at this point, we are gonna have Nili taking this fight over here, and the demos are coming in right now. The demos are coming in, and that is the end of the story, I believe, for Vietnam. Another couple of fire ships go down over here, and with that, we have 119 army against 55. ACCM is down to 10 galleons, and we will go. Eventually, ACCM is running out of stone, and that castle goes down. And when the castles go down, this fleet is gonna get annihilated. So, with that, we will have galleons coming in here on the north, Nili pretty much annihilating the fleet of ACCM and Say My Name, and it's just a matter of when now, to be honest. You still don't have a landing for Nili because the wood price is so expensive that you don't actually afford a transport ship. But still, the war galleys on the north chasing down the fleet here. It is no longer repairable to keep that castle alive. Stone is also extremely expensive now, something like 500 gold per 100 stone. So it's just a matter of when Jordan takes down that castle. Jordan's got 3 cannon galleons here. If these castles go down, it is definitely over. But now Nili could think about just landing. Honestly, landing the Hussar might not even be a reasonable thing to do here because the transport is expensive. And I feel like now Jordan realizes that his opponent has a very little fleet here. He will dive in and snipe the cannon galleons because those cannon galleons are preventing the cannon galleons of Jordan from taking down the castle. ACCM is buying stone like crazy, but you won't be able to keep that castle up forever. So, on the other side, we do have galleons from Nili. He could just take down these docks real fast. Nili actually goes Elite Cataphract. He goes Elite Cataphract, which is something that he can afford easier than he can actually afford to make ships because of the wood prices. And the castle still standing over here, ACCM at 12 ships, but he's running out of stone and he won't be able to buy another 100 stone here. He won't be able to buy another 100 stone. So when those villagers run out of stone, and that happens right now, the castle starts going down. And with that, ACCM still buying stone for himself. I think they just hope that they have more eco than the opponent, but that's not the case, and that's the final move. Elite Cataphracts coming in with basically all the upgrades that Byzantines have on them, and that should be the end of the story. And with that, Vietnam very resilient in this one, as we will have the fast fires now jumping on top of the galleons. So they were waiting for this opportunity, one final engagement, but now that the trade is going down and the Cataphracts will lead the infantry here, that's not really a problem for Nili's team. They will just destroy the trade and there's going to be 0 resource income for Vietnam. And with that, I mean, cannon galleons were picked off from Jordan, which is nice, but Say My Names and ACCM has basically no fleet now, with no hope of replenishing them. They just don't have resources. I mean, Say My Name still has a 1k gold in the bank, but that's worth about 100 wood right now. Currently, it takes 1019 gold to buy wood in this one. So, with that, ACCM and Say My Name call the GG over here. And Gamer Legion C taking a hard-fought victory, and they won't go down in a 3-0 here. So Admiral Jordan showing off his power on water, and at the end, this is what it comes down to, the trade numbers. And obviously this is already lost trade from Vietnam, but they overall had way weaker trade. So if you take a look at the ecos, 163,000 resources for Nili helped an awful lot overall. KD absolutely dead even between Nili and ACCM. Say My Name obviously with Gods lost a lot, and the trade profit. Look at this. 61,000 for Nili is more than ACCM and Say My Name combined. So this is really what decided the outcome. Also, Say My Name actually went for relics quite late, so he only got 1900 gold from the 2 relics, whereas the opponents got 4.4 and 4.1k. Crazy game. Crazy game in here. And with that, we will have more, apparently. So no 3-0 for us. We'll go after a crazy game. It's going to be so hard to reset our mindset to good old Dark Age land games. We'll go to Coast Mountain and Team Acropolis, one of the home maps of Vietnam A. ACCM and Say My Name having Franks and Indians left alongside Sicilians and Koreans. Other side, Lithuanians, Mayans, Turks, Aztecs left for Nili's team, and honestly I like Nili's and Jordan's civilization slightly better as the remaining ones. So here's the deal. I think that I would have preferred gods being used on Team Acropolis alongside Indians. Indians will be Team Acropolis, that's for sure, which means Franks will be Coast to Mountain. Probably Franks, Koreans, and the Indians, Sicilians could be the combination for Team Acropolis. On the other side, Mayans, Lithuanians, both are S-tier civilizations on basically either of those maps. Mayans could be the civilization for Coast to Mountain, because I would think that you go Lithuanians on Team Acropolis for guaranteed 2 relics. Although Lithuanians could be a very good nomad start civ, so it makes sense to pick them on Coast to Mountain as well. And if you go Lithuanians on Coast to Mountain, you will accompany that with, I believe, Turks Cav Archers, and then you go maybe double Mazo on Team Acropolis. So, with that, we will jump into the next game, game number 4, Gamer Legion C versus Vietnam A. Gamer Legion C hanging in currently after a Crazy Islands game, and we will jump into the next one. So, with that, we're going to Coast to Mountain, apparently. So, that is going to be the first home map of Vietnam. We will have Lithuanians and Sicilians, or, well, Lithuanians and Aztecs being picked versus Sicilians and Indians. Interestingly, I would have thought that Indians will be your civ for Team Acropolis, but it looks like they are going to play a somewhat less conventional civilization. Sicilians on Nomad start is definitely an interesting one to have. We had a lot of criticism. Oh boy. It looks like we have a bit of a capture age issue here, so I will need about a moment to reset things. Yeah, you probably hear the Windows sounds. Uh-oh. That is not good. Don't worry, we'll fix that in a moment. I might just need to nuke some stuff here. So we'll continue with game number 4 in a moment. Okay, we're good to go. I fixed it. I fixed everything. So we will be going into Coast to Mountain. We will have our cold color team on the left side playing ACCM and Say My Name as Indians and Sicilians. Indians could be a good late game civilization for this map, has the cheap villagers, which helps quite a bit with the nomad start. And Sicilians, building TCs faster. I think that was changed though, so that they don't actually get that benefit for the first town center that they build, because they were just the exclusive nomad pick. Still, Sicilians, commonly associated with nomad starts, will have Say My Name as green Indians, and ACCM will be playing blue Sicilians. On the other side, we will have Lithuanians for Nili in red, and Admiral Jordan venturing to sort of a hybrid map now with yellow over here, he's going to be playing Aztecs. So Aztecs, Lithuanians, it's an interesting combination. I would say it's a little bit more balanced than Indians, Sicilians. But this is the tricky thing. I did mention that Aztecs is a bad archer civ in 2v2. It's bad because they don't have thumb ring. But there is one more civilization in this that doesn't have thumb ring, and that is going to be Sicilians. If you go for Indian camels and Sicilian archers potentially, then the Aztec Arabs will be dead even to Sicilian arbalests. So that could be a nice situation for either team, not really having a problem with lacking thumb ring. Alternative is that you could go cav archers with Indians, which have great cav archers, and go for with the heavy cavalry with the Sicilians. The drawback of that is that you are going to be potentially up against paladins in super imperial, or not super imperial, but super late game, and that could be troublesome. Now, Lithuanians will be able to pick up 2 relics relatively easily over here, one over here and one over here for each team, one in the middle of the map, so you will most likely be capped around 3 relics on this map with Lithuanians, but that's still a fairly guaranteed 3 relics, or at least 2 of them are fairly guaranteed. We'll have 2 docks for Gamer Legion, only 1 dock coming in for ACCM's team, so it looks like we will have a full length play here from Say My Name. So, Lumber Camp coming in on the left side, only 3 on wood, which means that he's probably just going to play standard scouts here. We'll see if the Lithuanian player does the same thing as well. Jordan having a bit of a tough time luring in that rhino. The fishing ships just now coming in. You already have 3 fishing ships for Nili, 3 as well for Jordan in a moment, and you only have 2 for ACCM, and the biggest problem, Say My Name just now dropping that dock. So that is going to hurt quite badly if you think about that. Their eco is going to be slightly weaker at this start. Fun trivia fact about this map, the last time that Coast to Mountain was played in a competitive tournament was NAC2 in 2019, and Nili was the host of that tournament. So the last time this map was actually featured in a big tournament, it was Nili deciding to implement this. It was a 1v1 tournament though. In fact, it is rarely played in 2v2s, so it's probably going to deliver some very interesting and unexpected games for us. So you got Nili bringing in another Rhino from quite far away, but he's got Loom on those Voyagers, so he should be good to go. And it looks like this is going to be his wood line. Both GL players will be coming in with TCs close to each other. And on the other side, the Vietnamese team is a little bit more spread out across the map. So, Fuelage coming in here with ACCM, and on the other side, you're gonna have Fuelage as well for Say My Name in green. Fuelage only in for Nili, which may raise the question of Jordan. What is Jordan up to? Is Jordan going to FC this one? It kind of feels like it. So, Nili is Nili actually gonna try and lure in another boar from the outside? Interesting. So, it looks like Nili is doing a 1-dock play, so is Jordan. And with that, that could be a double land play from Gamer Legion. At this point, Nili going for a stable, and Jordan, it very much seems like we are gonna have an FC here. Jordan is gonna fast castle, but fast castle into what? Eagles, maybe? It looks like Gamer Legion is going to lose water though, so that is a big gamble that they take here, giving up on the water so easily, because eventually you are gonna have the scouts coming in for Nili, and Jordan walling off the northern part of the map for the time being. It looks like we're gonna have walls coming in for Say My Name. And Market Blacksmith most likely for Jordan. But what is he doing after Market Blacksmith? Is he just gonna add Eagles? Or maybe he's gonna try a Monk and Siege push. That would be an awkward way of playing this, but if you think about that, Monk and Siege or Pike and Siege could definitely be possible for Jordan. It's a gamble, it's a big gamble actually, because ACCM is going triple Dock Fire Galleys with Sicilians here, so it seems like Gamer Legion will be losing water quite rapidly, but there will be scouts coming in from Nili looking for repair villagers to pick off. Nili is not adding a Fire Galley, neither is Jordan. So for now, it is just going to be full-on land aggression from Gamer Legion, but that could mean that they lose water very, very easily. They take a big gamble here. Nili finds a villager though to pick off, and another villager from Say My Name could go down as well. Still, the fishing eco of Gamer Legion will soon be history, and it remains to be seen what Jordan does with his Castle Age, because that's the biggest question right now. So, with that, we're gonna have scouts coming in as well from Say My Name with Indians, something that Nili is gonna have to react to. Nili was aggressive, so he picked off some villagers, but that means that he doesn't have any scouts back at home to fight against the opponent's scouts. And he's queuing up a spearman, but he's housed for the moment, so he doesn't have a spear out just yet. Lands a hit still on that scout. Jordan is going for what appears to be just triple Barracks Eagles. Here's the problem though. Where is Jordan gonna get food from? Jordan doesn't have any food income. But if you think about it, the triple Barracks Eagles might make sense for Gamer Legion. I'm just noticing this. What will Indians do against Eagles? Like, you probably did scout that ACCM is going water. It's not really hard to see, right? That means that the only player that's going to fight land early on will be the green player, and Indians don't have knights. So if you go for a full eagle play, you can just overrun your opponent with a lot of eagles, and it's going to be extremely hard with Indians to defend that. Fire galleys pop out for Nili as well, pushing the fishing eco of ACCM. Currently the eco lead is massively in the favor of Vietnam, but they don't really have a direct response to Eagle Warriors, and Nili is gonna go for full scouts as well. He's gonna go for bloodlines in here. Currently, as I said, it's a 16 villagers lead for Vietnam. But how do you stop the Eagle Warriors? That's the real question, and that's quite a lot of villagers coming forward for Jordan. We will have the forward siege workshop coming in, Eagles and siege, potentially Jordan just getting Eagle Warrior right now for himself. The only player in Castle Agent. This is getting scary for Vietnam. This is getting very, very scary because they don't have a direct response to Eagles, as I said. Despite the fact that these villagers from Jordan might get picked off by scouts, it looks like Nili and Jordan will double down on these villagers, but the forward villagers being intercepted hurts so badly for Jordan. A spearman comes back, but that's actually the spearman of Say My Name. Nice quick walls from Jordan, extremely crucial quick wall over there. Loses the one forward villager, and that's why you always send two forward vills, because you assume that one of them will potentially die. And that quick wall was extremely important for Jordan getting that siege workshop up. And even though Vietnam has a 15 villagers lead Castle Age coming in for ACCM, ACCM needs to go for knights. If there is no knights on the field, you don't have an answer to the Eagles. Even if there is knights, you can just go monks with Aztecs. So for now, Gamer Legion loses the entire water. Nili is still making fire galleys to try and take down some fishing ships here. Probably when ACCM will be distracted, he's going to try and jump out and go for a couple of fights over here. Like, he takes 3 fire galleys as he loses a villager here to the fire galley. He takes 3 fire galleys, pops out, and then tries to take this fight while the ACCM is distracted. Nice quick walls coming in here from Say My Name, goes for a stone walls. I think that's the right thing to do. So, stone walls here actually slow down the push of the opponent quite nicely, but here comes the siege push from Jordan, and it looks like we'll have some sort of longswordman play. Yeah, it's gonna be the famous, the well-renowned longswords from Sicilians. Nili finds a couple of villagers over here with 2 scouts that do have bloodlines. Supplies longswords coming in here. The mobility factor is going to be on the side of Admiral Jordan though. Nili pops out with his fire galleys and he's just trying to look for ships to kill currently. Still, the eco is better for Vietnam, as the scouts are trying to snipe down this Voyager and prevent the monastery from going up. Nili still running around with those scouts trying to be as annoying as possible, might actually yoink a Voyager here. He is not gonna take that down because this scout switches focus to the other Voyager over there. Not a lot of egos from Jordan, but it is a fairly sizable force for the time being. And it looks like Vietnam will keep water control, although Nili will keep pressuring it. And for now, he could actually find a couple of fishing ships over there. Only 3 Voyagers deficit. Only 3 Voyagers deficit for Gamer Legion, although part of the fact is that Nili is still Feudal Age, so Nili has to find himself up into Castle Age, as we will have this TC slowly being mangoed down. Say My Name is forced to repair this TC that costs quite a lot of wood frame, and it's gonna be Light Cav. As I said, he doesn't have knights, but Light Cav don't really stop eagles, and that's a massive problem. It looks like they are still hiding the longswordman play. I wonder if Admiral Jordan knows about that. He sees the double barracks. So, like, the surprising thing here, I would say, is that ACCM could have just gone for knights. ACCM could very well have just gone for knights. We got some fire galleys over here taking the fight, and that is something that Nili is winning. Jordan pushing on land, and Nili kind of just taking down a distracted ACCM over here. You have the fire galleys now pushing the water, and there is not a single combat ship from Vietnam now because ACCM is busy getting the longswords out. Here comes the longsword push. Camels also joined the party. Scorpions are a little bit clustered up, but this is still a nice choke point, I would say, for Gamer Legion. Mango's landing some decent hits, but this might not be enough. Another decent ground attack, opening up the gate here for now. Now that was a good ground attack. It was a very, very good ground attack from Jordan. Still, this push pretty much stalls out, but what this actually gave a chance to is Nili winning water, or at least he's definitely contesting water and killing the opponent's fishing eco. Still, this is a cleanup from Vietnam, and that is going to hurt quite badly now for Gamer Legion. Jordan has lost all his investment, all the egos, all the mangonels, all the monks as well. Second DC just now coming in for Jordan. He knows exactly that he needs to start adding eco himself. Last player to Castle Age will be Nili, but Nili is actually killing the fishing eco of the opponent over there, so ecos are still dead even for both players. One thing that hurts for Vietnam is that they had to tech into longsword, and those longswords will be useless now. Like, this is the moment where Jordan should just switch into arbs or crossbows, because they're up against longswords and camels. Both of those will die to crossbows. We'll see if Jordan does that. Or the alternative would be Lithuanian cav archers, potentially from Nili, although I think that Nili will just go for the relics and go for knights as it is. Monk pops out from the monastery, converts longswordsman, but that doesn't change the fact that the buildings here will go down. Demo coming in here from ACCM, not really getting a connection so far. Nili slowly securing water, as he's the only player currently that has any kind of combat ships on water. He might even go for War Galley just to be sure about that one. Second TC coming in here on the left side for Say My Name. He already has one more on the right side for a combined 3. And with that, we are gonna have some nice demo hits over here from ACCM. He doesn't want to give up on the water just yet. He has some fishing ships hidden in the corner, and they want to be able to use those to something at least. Some demos are coming out as well from ACCM. More and more longswords on the field for ACCM, but what are they exactly going to do? Camels now counterattacking from Say My Name. And there is nothing really that stops those camels from killing a couple of Voyagers here. Militex into Lithuanian pikemen here. Quick Walls trying to come in here from Jordan. Will be successful so far. Nili might lose a couple of Voyagers here. Indeed, here goes the first Voyager. But that was everything. 3 TCs coming in for Nili soon. He is going for the War Galley upgrade. So he will be able to secure water for themselves, I believe. Jordan is just booming on 3 TCs right now, so Nili is sort of making sure that their opponents don't have a fish boom, and he also makes sure that they don't die on land, and Jordan is just booming like crazy. 63 Voyagers for him, although 57 is there for SayMyName as well. So from that perspective, that's also a nice positive. And really, ACCM has a lot of idle fishing ships over here that he can't really do anything with. He also invested a lot into his docks, but that didn't really work out either as well. So Longswords now pushing Nili, and this is why I'm not necessarily a fan of the pikemen play, because they knew about the longswordsman, yet they went for pikemen. And they don't really have a good response to pikemen right now. Not really the big deal, although that many longswords could just melt a building very, very fast. So you gotta be careful. Nili picks up relic number 1 over here. The second relic that he should be picking up is around here. You see that Jordan pretty much secured that relic. But, oh, that's a nice find. That's a beautiful find for SayMyName Yoinks a Monk. He secured that relic, but he didn't garrison it into his monastery because he wants Nili to have it for his knights. That being said, as I said, I think Nili is just the punching bag right now. He's the one that has to delay this push from happening, and he's the one fighting on water. So, as bad as it looks like that he loses stables and whatnot, Nili still has a free TC boom, and his sole responsibility right now is to make sure that Jordan can just boom happily. And that so far is happening, and Sicilians will have answers to Elite Eagles. Indians won't really have Elite or answer to Elite Eagles until Imperial. So if Jordan gets to Imp first, gets like 20 Elite Eagles out, this could be troublesome for Vietnam. Obviously, Indians have hand cannoneers, so they can go for those if they get to Imp, but that requires chemistry. That requires Imp, obviously. Sicilians do have sergeants, but that's a problem with mobility. They are slow moving. They have cavalier, but they take quite a lot of time and resources to attack into. Still, last time I checked, pikemen don't do well against longswords, and that's exactly the case as well. We will have 4 TCs now for ACCM, 4 TCs as well for SayMyName, so the deal is that Jordan's boom might seem like it's big, but it's not actually big. It's 85 Voyagers compared to 79 and 69. 2 players at 69 Voyagers. Right now, Nili goes down to 68. And with that, water control is now in the hands of Nili. So Nili's gonna start adding some fishing ships, but I mean, most of the fish has run out. So that's something to point out. We're gonna have Jordan, I think, getting ready to click into Imperial, goes for University. If it's University, then that's gonna be Arbs. And I think Arbs is the right thing to do here. Because Arbs would melt longswords, Arbs would melt camels, so there is no easy answer from either of the opponent's teams to Arbalest. And those Arbalests will be lacking Tumbling, but it doesn't change the fact that they will be Imperial units, and they will be sort of counter units to both longswords and camels. So, but who am I to tell? It looks like you're just gonna have a University for the building requirement, because it's gonna be full Eagles. It's going to be full Eagles from Jordan, Nili adding some Lithuanian Cav Archers over here. It's gonna be Eagles and Lithuanian CA. Lithuanian CA is nice, but Arbs are actually better in this situation, because the Arbs actually kill the Camels, whereas Camels are fairly even compared to Cav Archers. Because while Camels don't do bonus damage against Foot Archers, they do versus Cav Archers. So that's an advantage from that perspective for the Camels. Nice conversions coming in here for Nili. A lot of those camels are fairly low in HP, but I think the key is this one for Jordan. 1 minute away from Imperial. SayMyName will click into Imp as well, but from this point on, Jordan just needs to make sure that we will have the Eagles out, and he can just keep raiding with them. So, with that, Jordan is reaching Imperial in 20 seconds, and we should have the Elite Eagles in. Nili loses some of the Voyagers, and that's definitely not ideal for him. He's down to 92 eco. Slowly getting the relics in though. Nili yoinks the 3rd relic as well. That's actually important. Brings in relic from the middle of the map. Imperial Age just now coming in for SayMyName. This is the time to shine for Jordan. This is the time to shine, because he's gonna be flooding the map with those Aztec Eagles, and there's absolutely no response from the opponent for that. Jordan will send a couple of Eagles here to help clean this one up, and I think this is the time to shine for Gamer Legion. Looks like it is going to be a good situation in this game for GL. The thing is that, as I said, Sicilians and the Indians will have the answers to elite Eagles. It's just the fact that Sicilians have mobility problems with sergeants, and Indians also mobility problems plus Imperial Age requirement for hand cannons. Still, this map is very, very open, so Eagles can definitely do a lot of chaos, and this is one of the best ways to punish Indians going Eagles. Indians, until they reach Imperial, have basically no response to Eagles, and Nili is also going into Imperial. First Crusade! First Crusade in a tournament game! Look at that! ACCM knows that they need something to stop those Eagles. He is gonna suddenly jump to 35 Sergeants over here. That's nice, but the problem is that they don't have the mobility. You will just struggle to chase these guys down so badly. And if you go Sergeants, the Cav Archers could do quite a lot against you. That being said, SayMyName is doing a very, very good job raiding Nili, as that is Garland Wars coming in for Admiral Jordan right now. Still good villager counts for both Vietnamese players. And now the Sergeants start rolling. They do have decent upgrades as well on them, I believe. So they do have +2 defense immediately. Nili, this is why I said that I don't necessarily like the Cav Archer play, because Cav Archers would just die to Camels. This is why Foot Archers would be better to deal with the Camels. But at this point, Nili just needs to make sure he doesn't die and just let Jordan raid his team into victory here. But that's still dependent on the raids, and I feel like if you start walling off the left side over a wall of the middle and limit the movement of Jordan and Nili, suddenly the Sergeants and the hand cannoneers of Indians will be much, much better. Sergeants taking down this unprotected trap here, so this TC stays up for ACCM. Elite Sergeant in. Elite Sergeant, my man. Nili! Oh! Look at that trap. Oh, we gotta rewind this, guys. We gotta rewind this. Look at this. Here come the Camels. And Nili, with the crazy quick walls, channeling his inner Viper, traps that entire army over there, and all those Camels are now going down. Nili has had enough. Nili has had enough and said, okay, whatever. No more Camels for you, SayMyName. And he's going to just red that army inside. We are gonna have Champion switch into Jordan, and honestly, I think Jaguar Warriors makes more sense against Sergeants. I mean, Champions could work, but Jag Warriors is the name of the game against the Sergeants. Sergeants now with Elite, and they actually start becoming scary alongside Heavy Camel as well. So now it's going to be Camels going down here. Cavalier from Nili though, and don't underestimate Cavalier. This is tricky because the Indian Camels will eat the Lithuanian Cavalier, although it's +3 from the relics for Nili's team. Nice raids over here from Jordan. They have to keep raiding Imperial Camels though, man. Nice raids from Jordan still. Mobility is something that they definitely have to build on, but that's a lot of Imp Camels, or soon to be Imp Camels, could jump on Nili's TC, and they do have a building attack bonus because they are, as I said, Imp Camels from Indians, and Indians do have a bonus attack against buildings, and the Sergeants are heading that way as well. Sergeants fairly resistant to arrow fire, so it's not going to be easy to clean them up. The best way is probably Cavalier or Hand Cannon to deal with them. Still, on the right side, because the Sergeants are gone, Jordan's Eagles are raiding and raiding and raiding. 105 villagers only for SayMyName, as Nili's team is establishing trade. And the thing is that these Camels will be cleaned up by the Halberdiers, and without the Camels, you will just die to Eagles, or more importantly Cavaliers, but even the Swordsmen. Look at all the Swordsmen from Jordan coming in here. Nili mostly cleans up those Camels. 64 army for the Vietnam and 87 for Gamer Legion. Most importantly, only 103 villagers for SayMyName. Not really enough to keep spamming Camels, and that's a lot of Swordsmen, man. You're talking about 41 elite Sergeants versus 42 Two-handed swordsman with Garland Wars. The sergeants have way better melee armor, by the way. They have 7 melee armor, but they only do 12 damage currently as opposed to 21 damage. So I think that's a fairly even matchup, although Jaguar Warriors would actually be a reasonable solution here, believe it or not. Now comes a big raid on the right side, and he tries to go for Cavalier, but Cavalier won't really do much against those Imp Camos soon, although it looks like Imp Camos were cancelled. Say My Name cancels Imp Camos and tries to tech into Heavy Cav Archer. If you go over here, you see Parthian Tactics coming in, and with Parthian Tactics, as this army from Jordan gets trapped here, surrounded by sergeants, so he wants to tech into Cav Archer, but that takes quite a lot of time, and the Aztec player can still go back to Eagle, so I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do. Cavalier will clean up the sergeants. These are some fairly sturdy Cavalier with +7. Last side, we'll have a Jaguar Warrior leading the way of the champions. Oh man, sergeants, Jaguar Warriors, elite Jaguar Warrior, man. Elite Jags. Holy smokes, and if Say My Name is given the time to tech into Heavy CA, this could be interesting, but I feel like if you just go Heavy CA, your opponent will just go Eagles, and once again, you're gonna have the trouble of how do you stop the Eagles, or how do you stop the Cavalier now, type of a thing. 105 army against 50 only. Gamer Legion having a firm control over this game, and we're getting closer and closer to a potential reverse sweep here. Nili trying to prevent redocking. I'm not even sure why you're docking here, potentially to control the shrine. Transport from Nili! Nili with the transport! Transporting Cavaliers behind the walls of ACCM. What a game this is, man. What a game this is. Oh my goodness. He's dropping off the Cavalier at the back of ACM's base. ACM rushing up donjons to hold against this one. The left side is getting overrun by champions and Jaguar Warriors. Though, left side we also have traps coming in. Sergeants trying to snipe that, but Jordan with elite Jaguar Warriors nearly clicks into Paladin with Lithuanians and 3 relics. That is also something to point out. More barracks are on the way from our Sicilian player, as Cav Archer numbers are steadily rising for Say My Name, but Cavaliers inside your eco like this hurts so much, as Vietnam is dropping in eco to a certain extent. The castle's being trapped up hills, which is not ideal for Jordan, but Nili's even teching into Galleon. They want to limit the movement of Vietnam by teching into Galleon and controlling the shoreline. They know exactly that wood control will soon be an issue because the left side is getting pushed, and his right side they want to cripple the resource income from the right side. In here, more and more Cav Archers on the field though for Say My Name, and Cav Archer Sergeant could still be a dangerous composition. So now Cavaliers though in for Nili, not really willing to take this fight just yet. Castle goes up, I believe, for Jordan. Nili with galleons and fireships melting the donjon to be able to just harass the eco from the south. Big Sergeant counterattack coming in here. We'll actually see a first-handed look at how Sergeants deal with the Cavalier, and you see that Sergeants aren't that great at dealing with Cavalier. And now the Jaguars arrive. Jaguar Warriors versus Sergeants. Man, what else do you need for your life? Jags absolutely shatter the Sergeants. Vietnam once again has the military lead though, but they lose the castle on the left side. 42 Cav Archers though. That 42 Cav Archers starts becoming scary, but once again, you could just go for Eagles if you are Jordan, and you should be good to go fighting against them, or Onagers. It looks like we're gonna have Onagers from Gamer Legion. Jaguar Warriors. It's not just a few Jaguar Warriors, it's 38 elite Jags. What a series so far. Absolutely crazy. And this is what the tuple system can give you guys. Civ matchups that you would not see normally, and that results in unit matchups like that. Cav Archers now probably trying to take a good engagement here, open field against the Jaguars, which could work, but Gamer Legion will just shift focus to the left side, and you see that Jordan is probably increasing in ego numbers once again, because he knows that there is Cav Archers coming from the other side. Imp Camo once again being teched into by Say My Name. He cancelled it once, he won't do it again, because now he probably feels like, hey, there is gonna be Paladins over here. Halberdiers and Sergeants marching forward once again for ACCM. He doesn't really care about those Paladins killing his army, which obviously hurts him so badly. Nili is at 34 paladins, by the way, and he's pushing into the base of the opponent. Jaguar warriors trying to take a fight here close to SayMyName's base, as the onagers are now out, and those onagers firing down hills could kill a lot of those CA. Jordan controlling the onagers right now. Trebs being set up to start shelling that castle once again up hills. Onagers being a bit mismicroed, but they still land a good downhill shot, and that is going to cause some headache for SayMyName. Jordan in exchange will potentially lose at least one of his traps as Imp Camo comes in, but now Nili's paladins are rampaging the eco of ACCM. ACCM is at 76 villagers only, and even though he's got a big army here, they're up against Lithuanian paladins with +7 man, and that should be enough Jaguar warriors eating up the heavy camos. Boy oh boy, are we going to see a reverse sweep here? Because now Gamer Legion has 100 villagers lead almost, military numbers are still dead even, but map control is a big factor as well. Gamer Legion has trade rolling for them, whereas Vietnam doesn't, so sustainability is on the side of Gamer Legion as well. We will have almost 100 villagers lead now. 11k army value versus 9.5k, that's still fairly even, but that's a lot of onagers against those cav archers. It looks like the CA will launch a massive counterattack against Nili. Nili is prepared for this one with quite a lot of paladins, and Siege Onager on the way for Admiral Jordan. Once again a redocking attempt from ACCM as he has a random fire galley here killing the fishing eco of Nili. Paladins will try jumping on the cav archers right now. There is some support from Imp Camos, so Nili might need to retreat for a time being. But look at the left side, Paladins run in, and 44 lead Jaguars alongside 9 Siege Onagers in a moment. And it looks like Jordan's adding monasteries because he's prepared to face some bombard cannons. And he could try converting them. That's a very, very bad fight for Nili, getting his army intercepted in the middle of the map. Architecture as well for Nili. The Paladins are still rampaging the eco of the Vietnamese team, and it's, I think this is the number to look at, 68 eco for ACCM. That's not enough to sustain any kind of military production. He tries to go to war galleys to try and clean this one up, or well, it's gonna be fire ships, but he tries to clean this one up here so that he's able to use that space at the back, but instead they just resign, and with that, Gamer Legion taking a very chaotic but super intense game number 4 here. We're going to a decider between these two teams. What a series this has become. What a series. So if you take a look at the overall resources, we will have way better eco for Gamer Legion, and it really showed. 25k gold for Jordan, 22 for Nili, only 14 and 17k respectively from their opponents. Quite decent trade income for Nili as well, alongside the relic income. Aztec relic bonus, which is a team bonus, helps quite heavily over there as well. Jordan with a 1.41 KD overall. We do have game number 5 in. We only have 2 civilizations left for both teams, and it's gonna be Team Acropolis. It's an interesting map because that's where Gamer Legion C played their last game in the qualifiers, and it was a crazy game with Turks. Nili went for bombard towers in that game, and it's gonna be Turkish cavalry alongside Mayan cav archers as well. Or, did I say Mayan cav archers? I'm also getting tired. Regardless, we will go for a bit of a break over here before we jump into game number 5. So take some refreshments because the final game is coming in a moment. A big castle attempt over here from Sorakuma might be a little bit too ambitious, to be honest, as the Mangano is gonna be surviving. This is a big disaster here. This is a massive disaster for Sorakuma. Karambit warriors from Sorakuma. Oh, that ground attack. Here come the demos though. Here come the demos, and that could be some enormous hits over there. Oh my goodness. Oh, well, yeah. But that's a lot of Imp Camos. That's 40 Imp Camos on the field, and I feel like they were waiting for this final decisive push over here because this eats up the entire army of Kamigawa. He's down to 18 Hussar. All these archers are gonna get eaten, and these guys actually melt buildings as well. So they can run in, they can take that castle down if they want. Onager is now getting some nice shots up hills as well. There could be torsion engine onagers over here for Ethiopians, but I don't think it's actually needed, and it's a very expensive upgrade right now. And Ganji and Kamigawa will tap out. Fling are still defending, so to say, and this is worth doing a slow-mo on. That's not one hit, that's two enormous hits over there. Left though, Siege Tower. I don't like rewinding things, but I think this is actually worth. Siege Tower from Noisik. If you delete your houses or you lose them, oh! Well, it was nice knowing you, White Court, and for whatever reason we have a villager here. Can we just talk about this villager? And there is that open hole. I did mention that I didn't really like the walling. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, an overchop. Oh, the hole! The hole! That's a disaster. That's an absolute disaster. Alrighty, welcome back everybody to what is going to be the decider game of this set. Gamer Legion C going into Team Acropolis with Turks and Mayans versus Franks and Koreans. Apparently, Vietnam leaving some of their stronger civilizations for the final game. We will have ACCM and Say My Name on the left side in cold colors. Say My Name is playing green Franks, and we will have Koreans for ACCM in blue. Technically, it is possible that you can do turtle ships in a middle pond. By the way, when Nili and Jordan played the qualifiers against Whitecourt and Noisik, Nili actually went for artillery elite cannon galleons with Turks on this pond. So we have seen bombard towers, we have seen bomb or cannon galleons on this pond as well. Other side, we will have Nili as Mayans in red, and Admiral Jordan will be playing in yellow as Turks. So, Turks is actually a very, very good late game civilization on this map because of the bombard tower potential, and I did point it out many times before that Nili has a lot of deathmatch experience, so if this game stalls out, that could be an advantage for Nili's team, with Nili being very, very experienced in these post-team scenarios. And so far, we have seen games stalling out quite frequently until Imperial on this map, despite the fact that this is technically supposed to be an open map. With that, we will have a back wood line over here for ACCM. They will probably try to ward themselves off as much as possible, have a bit of a gold here at the back as well, and a decent-ish wood line, but most of the wood on their side is on the front. On the other side, we will have the wood line fairly workable, I would say, for Nili and Jordan over here. The left side is actually quite open for Jordan's base, so it doesn't really have a great wood lines to work with. Not really any straightforward places to drop town centers to, that's for sure. So, for now, we are gonna have Voz coming in here for ACCM. There is a lot of things that you can do with Franks here, but I would think he will just open with scouts. Oftentimes what you do is have one scouts player that pretty much prevents the opponent from doing a lot of damage early on, and the other one just goes probably straight fast castle into War Wagon in this case. So I think Nili and Jordan have to prepare for a War Wagon play from the Korean player. Other side, what can you do against War Wagons? It's tricky. Maybe Turkish Light Calf can do the trick, especially as long as the War Wagon numbers aren't amazing. Plumed Archers could be an idea, but I don't think they actually perform that well against War Wagons, because even though you have a lot of Plumed Archers, so the extra Pierce Armor of War Wagons isn't that big of a factor, the War Wagons are still super sturdy, so I don't really know. I think Plumed Archers would still lose to War Wagons fairly easily, or at least in early to mid castle age. We do have a bit of a scout scuffle over here. Jordan was trying to push in some deer and takes a fight against ACCM. Does have the HP advantage on those scouts as well, although you're gonna have to potentially turn back. Like, ACCM could have just tried looping up to the hill and then fighting down hills. That could have been an idea for him to try and take that fight, but apparently he didn't want to take that fight for now. SayMyName pushing in the air and going for a fast loom. That's gonna be a 20 pop feudal from our green player. We will have Nili bringing in his second boar just now. He did push in some deer as well for himself. As Jordan is holding the front of the base, Jordan is going for a fast feudal here, so that is going to be the scout's play. The reason, or the main question is, what is Nili going to do? Because it kind of feels like he's going to fast castle this one, and that would be very possible, and it could be fast castle eagles, so that they can fight the war wagons, but they gotta expect the war wagons. That's so straightforward, even though it looks like ACCM is going to play archers. Interesting. Interesting. So it looks like ACCM and SayMyName will go for a very aggressive feudal age over here. Something that could pay off if you can get through these wars, but if you don't, you are just gonna get beaten to castle age, and that would result in falling behind in technology, and that would probably mean that you will just get shredded by light cav potentially from the Turks. It makes sense for a Turkish player to go for scouts because you will get the free light cav upgrade, so even if you have some leftover army from feudal, you can do something with it. It looks like SayMyName will decide to fight this Voyager here, hoping that his feudal age upgrade will come in a moment, but Jordan reacts, sent his own scout in, and that is going to prevent our green player from sniping a Voyager here. Other side, it looks like we will have stone mining coming in for Nili, so he will play direct plumed archers here. This is, I think, spotted by ACCM. Yes, ACCM sees the mining camp, so he knows exactly that Nili is gonna go for plumed archers in this one. The question is, what can he do against that? He's gonna have the extra armor immediately on the archers, which helps quite a bit when it comes to, you know, dealing with the opponent's archers, but still, he's gonna have feudal age archers against plumed archers, and I feel like the big problem is that with the plumed archers coming in, Nili is gonna have a castle being dropped pretty soon, which means that the window to push this hill for Vietnam is actually very, very small. So you really gotta be careful if you are Vietnam with this push. You have to be super aggressive. Otherwise, if you don't, you will just watch as Nili drops a castle here protecting the gold and stone, and you will have no chance of pushing their eco. So, Turks coming in here with the scouts for Jordan. Turkish scouts are actually pretty decent because they do have one extra pierce armor, which means that they are able to take down archers as well fairly easily in fights. Obviously, Frankish scouts, on the other hand, will have extra HP. That helps quite immensely. So, we will have our Turkish player just playing with a couple of scouts. So, at this point, you see that the problem I have with the archers from the blue player is that Nili is already up to feudal age. He's going to add a market blacksmith to reinforce his walls over here, and then the castle will come in eventually. By the time these archers arrive, Nili is almost gonna be up to castle age. So, theoretically, this is a tough spot for Vietnam. They definitely have their moment to push this side, especially because Nili's storm mine is quite exposed. I don't think, like, he could have actually walled a little bit more to the front, but even then it's quite hard to protect that stone mine. It's 380 stone right now for Nili. Goes for a house to reinforce this one for the time being, and this is what I was talking about. The Turkish scouts will just work towards intercepting the archers. If you limit the amount of archers, then the walls will hold forever, because the scouts never get through walls, or at least they should never get through walls. The archers what allow the scouts to get through walls by denying the second layers, nearly at 450 stone. It is still 2 minutes away from castle age though, and this is the hardest time of the game for Nili and his teammate Jordan. If Nili gets to a castle, then this push is going to be completely useless. Nice revos from Nili. Goes for a defensive tower. He knows exactly that this must be a defense here. And even though that is going to delay his castle, I feel like that is the right thing to do. If you let these in here, you will lose the game. Because it's 2 versus 1, there is Spearman supporting against the Scouts. Nice micro, by the way, from ACCM to keep the Spearman around to help against the Scouts. Now the Scouts could loop around, but Nili's got the tower up and that's exactly what he needed. And he won't be that much delayed towards dropping that castle, to be honest. He can just send back 5 wheels on stone. And he should be good to go pretty soon. Nice second layer so far from Jordan. And the more we're looking at this map, the more we are seeing that a fast castle play is completely legitimate on this map, because it is surprisingly well volleyball, despite the fact that it seems very open. Nili might have an overchop here, and that's something that he has to be careful about. The yellow scouts heading towards the Vietnamese players' bases, and there should be no opening on those. So they won't be able to pick off any villagers, although there could be an overchop here at some point. But they could be picking off archer reinforcements. Nili's gonna have to revolt this one as well. But he is up to castle age. He's got the stone for a castle. And now that he's got a tower over here, I would think that the castle should go up indeed somewhere around over here as well. Scouts now trying to bash their way in. This castle must go up. If it goes up for Nili's team, they have a massive advantage. If it doesn't, it might be GG. The scouts from Jordan trying to distract SayMyName as much as possible by counterattacking his base. Over here, castle on the way to going up. Nili, very, very nice defense so far, just slowing this one down as much as possible. And really, that's some very, very good defense from him. 74, 75, I think this castle goes up, and SayMyName and ACCM know that as well. The scouts will disengage for time being. Castle Age coming in for both cavalry players. But this is the moment to shine for Nili. He can get the plumed archers out, and the plumed archers will have an easy time chasing down those archers. And cleaning up that many archers would definitely be great for Gamer Legion over here. On their way to a potential reverse sweep, because they were down 2 games, and it is a very winnable game right now for them. I would dare to say that the civ advantage might be slightly on their side, although it's hard to evaluate, because I like Mayans more than Koreans as a real archer civ. But I also like the Franks a lot better than Turks as a cavalry civ. Nice quick was once again from Gamer Legion. They just need to make sure that the scouts don't run past the buildings, that's all. They need to wait until Nili has like 5 or so plumed archers. They don't have fletching even, and that's something to point out. As I said, those are +1/+1 archers, but this army right now isn't accomplishing much. Jordan is still lurking around with his scouts, and that could be an extremely good timing if he finds those villagers over there on the left. He should have a timing, because one thing he knows about is that... I'm just a little bit surprised. Wait a second. Hold on. Did Jordan hit that spear, or did it just die? Let's see. Yeah, the scout hit it. Okay, that's fine. Still, Jordan knows exactly that the time where you move out with your units in Castle Age, or like you build your new TCs, is early Castle Age. Oops, bit of a lag spike. So if he's deliberately looking for that, he could find it. I don't think he knows about this wood line, and that's why he's camping this gold. He's expecting his opponent to try and TC this one, and now he's waiting for the opportunity to strike with the light cav. These archers and scouts are still around. Crossbowmen still just a distant dream right now for ACCM. Nili's eco isn't really great, so he isn't able to afford a sustained production of plumed archers. You see that he only has a couple of plumes out, and those also do not have Botkin yet. He tried moving out for a TC, but then he has to retreat because he sees the archers moving this way. Jordan not intercepting the villagers on that wood line, and here is the tricky thing. Yeah, Nili's got the plumed archers, but it's only 5 plumed archers against soon to be about 10 crossbows with +2 defense and +2 attack. Jordan's light cap still not doing much. Knights are on the way for SayMyName, and it looks like Jordan will actually tech into camels now to be able to pick off the early knights. It is 2 TCs, 3 TCs even for SayMyName, just 1 TC for ACCM obviously because he just reached Castle Age. Goes for crossbow, Botkin for him, he's not on stone, so war wagons won't happen anytime soon. Nili is still 1 TC, and one thing that Vietnam accomplished with this push was that they slowed down Nili really badly. So Nili is still in there, there is no worries about that, but it's a matter of he was slowed down so much. And now those crossbows have +2/+2 immediately, and they will also see the plumed archers here. If they even take the hill, this could be very troublesome for Nili. So he is sort of showing that TC to the Vietnamese team, and indeed it looks like he has just shown that TC to ACCM and Say My Name. That would be a disaster if this happened. You cannot try to sacrifice your plumed archers here to save that TC. There is going to be a couple of villagers being killed here. Surprisingly, Nili only lost 2 villagers in the entire game, but this could have been way worse. Nili is looking towards the second castle with 8 on stone, but I mean, he isn't really producing consistently from the first castle either, so I'm not sure how good this is for him, and this so far is a little bit underwhelming from Gamer Legion. They somewhat struggle to find the answer to this early aggression. I think they went for the greedier play of the FC Plumes, but they are somewhat getting punished for it, and camos without bloodlines and only +1 defense fighting against crossbows is a very, very bad sight. This is an awful trait for Jordan, but I feel like he had to do it to make sure that Nili doesn't die to these crossbows. Nili now with Botkin, but still no defense upgrades, and currently the main problem that they're having is that their army is just way weaker, and Vietnam moving in here. The reverse sweep dreams are slowly fading away from Gamer Legion as those crossbows with +2/+2 and ballistics hit the stone mine of Nili. Nili is down to 42 villagers. Our blue player is only 45 as well, but it's 38 army compared to 19. And oh, the reverse sweep dreams could be fading away here, because the Turks player here is forced to go full camos, but with full camos you just die to crossbows. Camos only works if your teammate has a lot of plumed archers. Now, Gamer Legion is not going to give up on this easily, that's for sure. And one thing that they could still try to do is potentially some light calf from the Turkish player. Jordan slow reacting to this knight, raiding him. This is a very, very slow reaction for Jordan. He lost 2 villagers. He's losing villager number 3. Jordan, what is happening? Did Jordan drop? That is a disaster for Jordan, man. Villager number 4 getting killed. He finally reacts, but oh my lord. That was like 5 villagers dead. That could have been so avoidable. He's down by 5 vills. And that should have never happened. One knight is not supposed to be able to kill like 10 villagers beneath a TC. And crossbows breaking through the walls here as the mangonel now comes in for Nili and Jordan. 40 eco lead for Vietnam Legends. And this is looking extremely grim for Gamer Legion. In what was almost a reverse sweep, it looks like this game has fallen apart for them. Overall, I feel like Vietnam played better in the series. Especially game number 1 and game number 2 were so dominant. But unless a miracle happens here for Nili and Jordan, this is not a series that they seem to be able to win here. Because as things stand, it's almost double the army for Vietnam, but more importantly, 40 villagers more. Still, it's Mayans, so that could be something that salvages something out of this one, but it's looking really, really grim right now for Gamer Legion. Jordan lost 1 stable here. They need at least 1 enormous mangonel shot on those crossbows to have any shot at this. So, with that, crossbows will now once again try to hit Jordan's gold mine. Nili has a tower over here. Nili is on 3 TCs and drops a second castle as well. And do not underestimate the Mayan power. Especially now, this could be big. This could be big because the camels catch the knights and the crossbows are heavily mispositioned. This could be a good engagement for Gamer Legion. Something that they really need. Nice coordination though from Vietnam to regroup their units. And now the knights dive in and snipe the mangonel. What looked extremely good for Vietnam, or for Gamer Legion, suddenly turns into a disaster with the mangonel being taken down. And once again, GL is forced back into their base. 169 villagers against 116. Unless there's a huge mangonel shot here, which could occur. That game is slowly sailing out of the control of Gamer Legion. As look at that forward TC from Say My Name, who's also adding a forward siege workshop for mangonels. and it's really the eco lead that shows this one. Jordan down to 55 villagers is very underwhelming. Look at this. 100 villagers for SayMyName playing cavalry. Jordan is at 55, and he's trying his best with camels, but I think that this is the end of the story here for Gamer Legion. Almost managed to mount a reverse sweep, but it looks like Vietnam will not let this slip out of their grasp, and they want to go to the winner's game, push down Gamer Legion C into the elimination match, and in the elimination match, if they actually fall, they will be out of the tournament. So it's going to be an extremely important next weekend for Nili's team, even though that Mangonel shot is great, but I don't think it comes too late. This just comes too late. I mean, look at the ecos, look at the armies. This game feels very much over at this point. We're talking about 37 crossbows with ballistics, +2/+2 versus merely 15 plumed archers with +1 defense on them. And more importantly, 24 Frankish knights versus 4 army from Jordan. And I think that we will soon see the GG here. Jordan is trying and he's letting some nice mangonel shots, but there is nothing that they can do against the Knight Flood of Franks here. But even if they stall this out, I mean, it's 210 eco versus 137, and really, Vietnam has played extremely good in the first, basically all games, but they fell short in the Islands game and they fell short in the Coast to Mountain game. But it looks like Team Acropolis is a place that they love. Nili and Jordan tap out, and Vietnam Legends will be the one advancing to the winner's game. You could tell like there was a castle being dropped here by ACCM. I think that was the final nail in the coffin. Like you can see Jordan just pulling villagers to try and fight this one. Nili and Jordan showing some signs of strength, but I feel like the real problem was that Arabia was so easily won by Vietnam. And I think that the first home map of Gamer Legion as well, right? If you think back to the Regicide Fortress game, the Ethiopians plus Burmese matchup, that felt a little bit off. And I think that what Gamer Legion needed, all that they needed was to win their own home map, Regicide Fortress, that they were counting on. And that didn't occur. Vietnam Legends moving into the Decider games next weekend, or not Deciders games, but Winners game. The winner of the Winners game will be in the single elimination stage, whereas the loser will go down to the Deciders. ACCM with an absolutely crazy KD, 88 kills, 33 deaths, with a 43 army high. And despite the fact that Nili was able to get to Castle Age fast, he was delayed so much by the early aggression, he had to wall so much, he had to run his villagers so much, that at the end of the day, that Castle Age didn't really mean that much. So we will have Gamer Legion C falling short here, and they will be taking the loser's game path. There is a way back for them. They have to win the loser's game, and if they win that, then they have to win the Decider game to come back. So there is a chance for Gamer Legion C to still make it to a single elimination stage, but at the end of the day, it looks like they will fall short for this set, and they will go to the loser's game first. Vietnam Legends going to the winner's game.